up, everybody? What up, what up, what up? Oops. With the stream playing in the background. Hey, check in. Later news today, because we had a event on my gaming channel, and you know, I put effort into whatever I'm doing. So just because I have a gaming channel, you know, I mean, it's not lesser than. It is in general because of this channel, but we had a state of play. The Sony state of play was going on, and instead of rushing the news before that, you know, we figured we could do it afterwards. So we got evening news for you guys today, but expect it to go back to afternoon. It's like 5 hours ago. We'd be like just wrapping up usually, but I mean, I don't think today's stream's gonna be too long. It might be, depending on the topics that we get into and some of the information that's came in throughout the day. But welcome everybody. Hope you guys are having a good day as best as you could during the chaos that has been ensuing over the past few weeks and the increasing gun violence, which, in my opinion, it's a theme the Trump administration's been priming, and the propaganda of it all. And I don't trust a single thing this government says or does, and we shouldn't. I mean, we have no reason to. And the ongoing theme that they're trying to play of like the left is pro-crime, the left is responsible for all the violence that happens. That's really what the environment that MAGA and the Trump administration are trying to lay out for us. And it's a narrative that they're leaning into, including what happened today from the ICE facility. So let's get into that first. One detainee killed and 2 others critically injured in Dallas ICE facility shooting. This happened this morning, which I was sleeping. During it. We were up late last night on my gaming channel. Doesn't mean we can't go over it afterwards. A shooter with a rifle opened fire from a nearby roof on a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement location in Dallas on Wednesday, killing 1 detainee and wounding 2 others in a transport van before taking his own life. The suspect has been identified by a law enforcement official as 29-year-old Joshua Jahn. The official could not publicly disclose details of the investigation and spoke to Associated Press on condition of anonymity. Of course, the internet's already found information out about this Joshua Jahn, and here is the shooter. To no surprise, the same archetype of shooter that we have in America always. Yeah, Fox 4. Who is Joshua Jahn? Dallas shooting ICE suspect identified. Oops. Well, there you go. There's the photo. If a photo will stay, there it is. Nothing different than usual. Okay. Just the usual. Did Trump make trans Antifa? Trump can't give anything. Like, his executive orders really mean nothing. He can say and claim all he wants. It doesn't mean shit until it becomes law or it becomes an actual act. So who is Joshua Jahn? Dallas ICE shooting suspect identified. 29-year-old man Joshua Jahn with ties to North Texas, Oklahoma, has been identified as the suspect in a shooting at a Dallas ICE detention center. Now, there he is, according to Fox News and Fox 4 sources. The sniper who killed at least 1 person at the Dallas ICE facility early Wednesday morning was 29-year-old Joshua Jahn. Records show he has family in the Collin County of Fairview. Sky 4 captured images of the agents outside of his house. Dallas police confirmed the Fairview police are assisting with their investigation. Jahn may be living in Durant, Oklahoma. That's what we're looking into. Law enforcement officials were seen parked outside a home connected to Jahn in Durant on Wednesday afternoon. He was arrested for marijuana possession in 2015. He doesn't have a history of violent crime. Shooting happened around 6:30 a.m. Wednesday at the Dallas ICE facility. Gunman shot 3 ICE detainees. 1 detainee died, and 2 others are in critical condition. So no criminal record. Only thing he's ever done was he had marijuana in 2015. And then you got the photo. Anti-ICE messages, but it literally just says anti-ICE. And it's written in pen. Are we really doing this? As soon as I saw that, I thought number one, I thought this was just like a meme at first. I didn't realize it was the evidence that the FBI is putting forth. I really thought this was like a meme. That's a good one. I like that one. We're going to keep that up. That's for the Jimmy Kimmel news later. That's a good one. But I really did think that this was like a meme until I realized it's our podcaster FBI director. This morning, just before 7 a.m. local time, an individual fired rounds at a Dallas ICE facility, killing one, wounding several others before taking his own life. FBI, DHS, ATF are on the ground with Dallas PD and state authorities. While the investigation is ongoing, an initial review of the evidence shows an ideological motive behind the attack. Anti-ICE. No. Nope. This federal government did something, and they've been doing something, and they're acting in darkness. Everything that you can imagine that is dark that's happening, this federal government is engaging in 100%, including but not limited to, I think, killing Charlie Kirk themselves to create the martyr and the experience that we've been living now for the past few weeks, to create the environment that we're in. They do not care about killing their own or death or killing people to further their goals. And Americans need to understand that. We don't live in a cutesy little woke world. We don't live in that world. We live in a world where people kill each other to get to their goals of what they want, including the governments. Governments do this all the time. Authoritarian governments, this is like their playbook. This is what they do. This is how they operate. This is how Russia works. This is how Hungary works. This is how any authoritarian government you can name. China, North Korea. So don't have it in your head like America could never do this. This could never happen. America could never do this. It was always a projection from Alex Jones and the right wing, because we didn't have this type of actions being conducted on Americans other than protest groups get this treatment. They get Patriot acted all the time, which that happened after 9/11. And the establishment of Department of Homeland Security after 9/11. But I mean, this is ridiculous. And I don't think anyone is going to believe this. He wrote anti-ICE messages, and this is on purpose, by the way. This is propaganda on purpose, because it literally, like, people, you got to realize how stupid people are. And I'm talking dumb. Okay? They will see this as like, oh, that's the anti-ICE bullet, because it says anti-ICE on it. And nobody that wants to take violence to the federal government in this capacity would write that on a bullet. That's not happening. Nope. Just like when they immediately tried to blame trans bullets for the shooter, Charlie Kirk. Nope. Still haven't seen the engraved bullets of all those messages. I still, like, look at how big anti-ICE takes up. Writing to anti-ICE, and you're saying that there was Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow, Chow. Where the fuck is that written? Have we seen? Have they released the pictures of the engravings from the shooter in Utah? No one that's actually anti-ICE would do this. What's the caliber of these bullets, too, by the way? Like, what is that? So, just a bunch of, I mean, in my opinion, just a bunch of bullshit. And then and then you have a guy who is not living in blue anywhere in terms of, like, could be influenced by leftist ideology, which is their new one. That's their new one. Living in Oklahoma and North Texas. Bad aim, cope harder. Cope harder. While this investigation is ongoing, an initial review of the evidence shows an ideological motive with the anti-ICE. These despicable, politically motivated attacks against law enforcement are not a one-off. We're only miles from Prairie Land, Texas, where just 2 months ago an individual ambushed a separate ICE facility targeting their officers. It has to end, and the FBI and our partners will lead these investigative efforts to see to it that those who target our law enforcement are pursued, and brought to the fullest extent of justice. Thankfully, no law enforcement personnel were injured. They're creating a layer of you can't criticize, and that's going to keep happening until we get to the point where you can't criticize Trump at all. That's where we're going. because there's nothing that's violent. Like, they're acting like Gestapo. They get to be called a Gestapo. It is what it is. Words are violence. Are words violence now? MAGA, right? Are we there? Are we at that point now? In the snowflake woke world, are we at words or violence? Because you guys were against that one for the last 10 years, but now are we there now? Because when ICE is out there acting like it, they're masked up, they're grabbing people from their places of employment without saying shit, throwing them into unmarked vehicles, acting like a gang. That's what they are. If the ICE wants to be called other than a Gestapo, then they should act differently and start acting professional. They should maybe conduct themselves in a more professional manner. Maybe not do propaganda from Kristi Noem, Nazi lady, doing oh my god, bro. Hold on. I hope Pokemon shoots the fuck out of them. This is what they're doing. This is the type of shit we got them. We got to catch them all. I wonder why they're called the Gestapo. I mean, that's the government where we have. That's our government. And they wonder why they wonder why people have words to say. Pikachu surprise face, ironically. Oh. We act like fascists and Gestapo, but we wonder why people don't like us. We wonder why then they force you to like them. Just like with Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk didn't deserve to be shot and murdered and killed, but to have a positive opinion about him, no matter if he's alive or dead, for millions of people, it was never going to be a thing. Like, you think that just because he was murdered changes how people posthumously think about him? If anything, that's when you really find out what people think when you die, because people held back and now you're dead. It don't matter no more. They're just being nice, I guess, and not saying how we really feel, because you're alive. You really find out then. Not good enough, Jimmy. Not good enough, Jimmy. We'll get to that. The fucking vagines in the MAGA. But yeah, I'm not believing this. I'm not believing this one bit. And listen, I have a platform where I don't control what you say. Okay. And how you guys feel, you guys should know that by now. If anything, I've kept the MAGA around for so long and they still get through the cracks, but I've already made a policy to where they'll be in the chat, but I'm not going to have them in my community because they support, they're like in 1984 world until MAGA itself. And if people fall, like I said, if people fall off of MAGA themselves and they try to come back to reality, but it's a slow process, I'll work with you. We'll work with you if it's a slow process, because I understand that one. But if you are like full-throated like MAGA and you're like holding on for dear life and you're hanging on to that, you're not welcome in my shit. Like, you can chat in the chat until the mods find you. But like, I don't want you around. You support this authoritarian fascist government, and that's exactly what it is. That's just what it is. Okay, I mean, if you don't want it to be called an authoritarian fascist government, then do something else with your support, or maybe advocate for the government to not act like this. Because not a single person is believing that of this story that Kash Patel's put out. Why would we? What has Kash Patel done to earn the trust of the American people at all, besides lie and come up with narratives, argue like a podcaster as the FBI director? I mean, what is there to give to them? The Epstein files are where are those at? They said twice. Like if I know I would probably, I don't know. Like if you say you're gonna do something, especially as like the federal government, and it's a promise, and then like you lie and you give, and you literally do it. Like you had props. Oh, here's the Epstein files. But then they were like, oh, do we really? They're on Pine Bondi's desk, and then what happened? Where are they? Just disappear. And then actually, ironically, as soon as almost to the T, as soon as the book between Epstein and Trump came out, Charlie Kirk was shot. Or no, we had the Irina Zarutska story came into the fray. Actually, that was the first one, and then I had bro, I had deleted Ukrainians because they were hitting me with right wing culture war narrative shit about it. I don't feel bad either. I deleted people that were right wing that I had before. Then they were making comments like, "Where are all the pro Ukraine people now? You don't have anything to say about Irina Zarutska." I had to delete them. Where were you on the whole invasion for the past 2 years? More like, where were you when this story happened at first? Why didn't you care until you were told to care about it? I deleted like at least 10 people that posted that. That I went through their shit, didn't say anything about Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Not a single thing. But then Irina Zarutska was murdered, and boy, they were like, oh, they were the ones asking where the Ukraine supporters were. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. And I don't feel bad at all about deleting those people, and a few Ukrainians that were like are cooked by right wing media, and like they were like trying to make a race argument, and I was just like thrown off from that one too. I don't know what to make of that. I don't know what to do because number one, I am mixed races. I love my Black Americans. I love the culture, and I'm not into rage baiting black on white crime, which is an absolute fucking grift in right wing media, where they cherry pick stories, and this happens for sure. They'll cherry pick stories of black on white crime, and then they'll put that narrative out there as if like this is like the massive case of the of like what's going on and like the crime that's happening, and then like make arguments around it. And that it's number one, it's racism. Like it's all racist around the whole argument in general. There's no good faith arguments in it at all. When you show the actual crime statistics that go other way, they don't want to hear it. So I didn't want to engage with it because we're like, and why are you hitting me with it? Why are you showing me the story? You know, doesn't mean that was her murder was horrible. Her murder was fucking terrible. But are you like saying like they were almost trying to insinuate that like first it was they were trying to do race shit with it, but then it went to what Charlie Kirk was murdered, and then it was like the left, and then they've married those two stories together, they being Republican media, right-wing media, and they are loud, unfortunately. And there is a distinct difference. Mainstream media is not all the same. They're corporate money for sure, but if you're like a smooth brain and you don't know what you're talking about, the mainstream media is different depending on where you go. It is mainstream, it is corporate paid, but it's different depending on where you're watching and what station you're watching. Most right-wing media is the same, but it's like different levels of extreme, but they focus on race shit, culture shit, and the most divisive possible things that they can put out there on right-wing media. Okay? So they brought the Irina Zarutska story into the fray. Then you got Charlie Kirk getting murdered, and then you got this taking place, and the right and the Republicans and the MAGA are marrying them all together and are trying to paint a picture of like this is the left. And I'm telling you, they're going to keep doing this, and they're going to get to a point to where you're going to Jimmy Kimmel was removed. We'll get to that story because he was back, and we're going to watch his monologue. But they're going further into authoritarianism based on their culture war, based on their race war demands. You got MAGA going to HBCUs now and harassing HBCUs. And doing like DEI is bad. The civil rights was bad at HBCUs, and they wanted, and that's what it's going to be now. They're not going to go to normal. They're not going to go to like big colleges that Kirk was going to and debating college kids. Which still, that's like it's like we're getting layers of worse. There's nothing that's going to improve from it. Charlie was already going to colleges and debating college kids for clips There was nothing really valuable there, other than, I guess, in the spirit of debate. But even then, he's debating college kids. He never debated. His first bigger debate outside of college kids would have been against Hassan here, but it's Hassan, and Hassan is not the best debater. He's bad at it, actually. That's why he doesn't do it. But that's what's going to be one of his bigger debates. But he doesn't engage in that. He doesn't debate intellectual, knowledgeable people. Okay, I'm not saying college students are stupid. They're there to get an education, but they're like learning. They don't know all the answers. No one does, but like that's like you're trying to figure out. And then and then you'll inject right-wing propaganda into it. You got evangelical propaganda into it, and try to, as if like, and really the whole grift was the college institutions are liberal machines and they create demonic forces. And that's really why you had evangelicals that really supported Charlie Kirk's efforts, because they viewed it as like some type of inquisition of the schools. That's really why they like really supported it. They didn't give a fuck about the debate. They like the clips. They like when Charlie Kirk would own a liberal college student, but not really. It was just a out of context clip, and he didn't show the rest of it. This is what Ben Shapiro used to do. That's what Steven Crowder did before Charlie Kirk when he did his change my mind shit. It's the same thing. They just copy each other. But now it's going to get worse because you're going to have loser looking MAGA white boys with their stupid 47 hats going to HBCUs and doing racism and like making it a free speech argument. And they're going to like start taunting HBCUs, which, hold on, I got that. They're going to start taunting those colleges and bringing racist arguments to them. And as if like, well, my free speech. It's my free speech to say this. And it's just going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. HBCU MAGA. MAGA rage baiters came onto an HBCU campus today to start trouble with students. When they got escorted out by security, they turned victim, and their followers are now spamming TSU social media platforms with hateful comments. That's what they do. They set up some makeshift fucking stupid table. It's going to get MAGA hurt. I'm telling you that. Two guys in red MAGA hats showed up on HBCU TSU's campus uninvited, permitless, and set up a table with signs railing against DEI and undocumented immigrants. That's not what Charlie Kirk, I mean, as shitty as Charlie Kirk was, he never did that. He didn't show up uninvited and permitless. You dumb fucking losers. He had a permit. He was invited by the college. He had it all he had it all set up to do it. It wasn't a random fascist show up and be racist. Charlie Kirk would do that, but he'd have the permission to be there and have it all set up, have a whole thing, and he did it for years. As much as I hated it, obviously, in terms of his rhetoric and his words, but like he did it the right way, I guess, right? Because yeah, he was okay to be there. He had a space on the campus worked with them, whatever campus he would go to, etc., etc. Didn't do this shit where you bring a beer pong table and then I'm going to say the most racist shit ever. It's my free speech. What are your thoughts? You're going to get hurt doing that. Okay? And I'm not going to condemn shit, actually. If this is what MAGA is going to do now, I ain't condemning a single fucking thing.
MAGA supporters invaded our HBCU.
What is going on over here?
Oh, it was, is that Cam Higbee? Oh my god, dude. I can't believe I gave this loser any time. And that's my fault. I was wrapped up in it. I was wrapped up in Ukraine, and I was looking for anyone that could, and Cam Higbee came across because he debated, I couldn't follow him. He follows me, but I can't follow this shit. Just went to Gaza and like lied about the aid getting there. Yeah, he's doing it. Wow. This is why we need security. We intend to keep the tour going on indefinitely if you feel inclined. You didn't have any permission to be at the school. You just showed up.
Like, what would happen? Hey, you can't don't do that. Come on. Yo.
you better not, boy. You better not.
Okay.
You better not.
Bring the sign back.
This is MAGA strategy. This is MAGA strategy. Do something to draw attention to yourself in the most extreme way possible and then play victim. What does that sound like? What country does that sound like? Ironically, because this dude's a fucking giant Zionist simp. What country does that remind you of in the strategy that's being employed? Oh yeah, Netanyahu. Oh yeah, Israel. Israel MAGA, dude. 100%. Do something absolutely illegal, or like, because you can't be there. You can't show up to a campus without permission. Make yourself out to be the victim, and then keep doing that. Yeah, that's probably why, dude. You got Netanyahu and the government talking with MAGA and telling them how it's done. You're going to make everybody that is a dissenter against MAGA be Hamas now, which is honestly what they've been doing. Do you condemn Charlie Kirk's murder? Do you condemn Hamas? Just listen, look at the parallels. Of course. I mean, yes, there are Democrats that are connected to Israel, and that's an issue, but not like the Republican Party, and it never was. That's why it made me so fucking mad watching the Palestine protests, actually. Because they put no effort into the Republican Party, actually. It's because the Democrats held power. Brother, the threat of Trump was always there. Always there. And the Republican Party is Zionism. Not like the various Democrats that support it. That definitely it definitely is a valid issue. But the Republican Party is like literally their fists of Zionism is up it, actually. And it's not in the Democratic Party. It's in individuals within the Democratic Party for sure that need to be primaried and get the fuck out of there. But the Democratic Party, no. Not like the Republican Party. And I come from the Republican Party. They have religious propaganda that tie them to it. But not a single Palestine activist, or I don't know, maybe there was, or media like Hassan cared to like put effort into like, okay, if we're gonna protest the Democrats, we have to protest the Republicans. Because they are like, if they win, it's like if Kamala Harris would have won, if you're like pro-Palestine, you had so many opportunities to get into that and protest it the whole time, because you still would be, and be able to, and get pro-Palestine voices in the government, because through primaries or through lobbying efforts. But no, that shit pissed me off so bad, because I couldn't believe I was watching Palestine protesters and MAGA like hug it out. I couldn't believe what I was seeing last year. I literally couldn't believe what I was seeing last year, because the Republican Party is. You think the U.S. is attached to Israel? Now, well, I'll be with that argument. I'm with you there at this point. The Republican Party is like, it is that. It is the Zionism. It is Israel. You got, oh my God, dude, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it for the past few years. I've been quiet on it, but like I literally could not believe the Palestine protests didn't give a fuck about the Republican Party, actually. And you can't lie and say you did not. Nope, they did not. And I really think it was directive from Code Pink and all the big, the major like Palestine organizations that were funded by China and other foreign governments did that on purpose, so that way they wouldn't protest the Trump administration, really, because they didn't. You can't say you did, because no, you did not. I watched all of it. I covered the protest movement. I was at the DNC. And, the RNC Palestine thing was nothing compared to like the DNC and how many people were out there. Thousands of people. That was the biggest protest I've seen against the Democrats. And it's fine to do that. Your First Amendment right. Protest them. The energy against the Republican Party and MAGA was not there. Never was there. It wasn't equal. It should have been at least equal. I would have respected it more if it was an equal amount of energy at the Republican Party from this Palestine protest group. It wasn't. It needed to be more. but I would have taken at least equal amount.
You called the East primitive, but what? We created y'all knowledge. We created y'all science. We created y'all math. Y'all didn't do shit besides steal. Y'all didn't do anything to your... You guys didn't make shit. You guys touch children. You guys fuck.
Showing them the door.
We walking them to the door, y'all. I don't even know how they got on campus. We gonna figure that out, but I don't know. They need to get like a trespass, like penalty or something because.
Sending them off.
Tell him it's that boy. He thought he was gonna come up like Charlie.
Yes.
Man,
Yes.
yes.
Say good job, TSU.
Good job. Shout out to my
Good.
Got them out of there. They shoot each other all day, then say BLM. Tony, get the fuck out of my chat. Get the fuck out of my chat. We're not playing that game. You guys will learn real quick. You guys will learn real quick what I'm about. Oh, hey, for y'all that might have came on recently, I covered all the Black Lives Matter protests, and I full-heartedly believe in all that. So if you have an issue with that, you better find a different liberal to listen to, I guess. Or I'm a leftist now. Whatever I am. I'm with all that. So you can go fuck yourself if you are like they and talk about black people as if they're other than. Literally go bury yourself. But that's the games that were being played now. You got all types of old wounds from the American experience in our society, from the civil rights movement, all coming back now because of this administration, because of this government. Investigators said anti-ICE language was found in ammunition left behind by the gunman who died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. An official familiar with the matter identified the attacker as a 29-year-old man. So here's the latest. It was just updated a half hour ago since we started the stream, so we got a new update on the shooting. A shooter opened fire on a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility in Dallas on Wednesday, killing one detainee and critically wounding two others. Investigators said the gunman died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound and left behind ammunition that bore the phrase anti-ICE in blue writing, according to officials. No law enforcement agents were hurt in the shooting, and investigators released few details about the shooter or his possible motive, but officials suggested that it was a target attack aimed at immigration enforcement agents. But it was detainees that were killed. Kash Patel, the FBI director, posted an image of the ammunition on social media, which I already showed you guys. Looks like a bunch of nothing. It truly looks like it like right out of a narrative. We'll get to that. It literally looks like the dumbest propaganda for the dumbest people, because they'll be able to do shapes and colors in their brain. It goes to like the easiest point to remember things. I remember seeing a bullet that said anti-ICE on it, and that's it. That's the propaganda. That Russia does it. America can do it. Ads do it. That's how it works. Okay, that's how this is. It's people like that are believing of the federal government and are hardcore MAGA. Well, all this is going to do is like, okay, do anti-ICE bullets. And that's what the propaganda is designed for, in my opinion. Because ain't nothing truthful coming from this loser. Nothing truthful coming from this clown. Okay? That's why it's so stupid and why it's like this. Because it's propaganda, in my opinion. And it's written like this for easy, stupid people. Simpletons. That's why it's so dumb. And that's what I've learned from Russia propaganda. You'd think that the Russian propaganda would be so complex and like, boy, like deep narratives to try to twist. No, it's shit like that. The dumbest thing you can think of, because people are stupid. Okay? I think people have the ability not to be, and you have the ability not to be dumb, but we're just automatically dumb until you educate yourself. We start out that way. And so because we start out that way, a lot of people seek information and knowledge, and then that makes them better. A lot of people don't do that. They did in high school a little bit, and then they stop. And then they stop learning things, or they stop caring about things. And then this works on those people because they haven't challenged their brain to do anything more than what they were required to do in high school. And it works. It works very well. in my opinion, because that's how I feel after this federal government's been acting. And this is just ridiculous. Okay, so back to the facts that we know so far, besides the bullet that had anti-ICE written on it. 3 people familiar with the investigation who were not authorized to speak publicly identified the gunman as Joshua Jahn. One of the gunmen said was 29. The Department of Homeland Security said in a statement that the gunman had opened fire from a nearby rooftop, describing him as a sniper who shot indiscriminately, including at a van in an entrance area where victims were struck. The identities of the victims have not yet been released, but one of the injured is a Mexican national, according to Mexico's foreign ministry. Homeland Security officials previously said in the statement that 2 detainees had been killed and 1 wounded before updating that information, but did not immediately explain the discrepancy. The shooting comes 2 weeks after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, a political activist whose death prompted Trump to threaten to silence what he described as left-wing extremists. Mr. Trump struck a similar tone Wednesday's shooting, vowing on social media to crack down on deranged radical leftists. He wrote that he would sign an executive order to dismantle those domestic terrorist networks and called on Democrats to stop this rhetoric against ICE. Okay, here's what else to know. 2 people who were waiting outside the facility for relatives who were going through immigration proceedings described the frantic moments of the shooting, hearing gunfire and taking cover until officers escorted them inside. It was one shot after another, after another, after another. Witnesses in Dallas described rapid gunfire as one shot after another, after another, after another. One in the parking lot sat outside the facility. 2 people who were at the immigration facility early this morning said they were waiting for relatives who were going through immigration proceedings when they heard the gunshots. They crouched in their cars for safety, they said, but struggled in the darkness to see who was firing. Denise Robleto, 38, said she was in a van in the parking lot waiting for her mother to come back from a check-in with Immigration and Customs Enforcement on her asylum case when the shooting started. Mr. Robleto had been trying to encourage a young woman she had just met with who was nervous about reporting to immigration authorities. As soon as they heard the popping sounds, Mr. Robleto said the woman and her baby hopped in the car. They saw smoke coming from a nearby law office building. It was one shot after another. But I could not leave. My mother was inside. Officers eventually arrived, and she and other witnesses were rounded up in a room inside the building where she was reunited with her mother. Mr. Robleto said she was concerned that the shooting would inject more tension into a Latino community already living under the constant fear of ICE raids. I hope officers remember that in a situation like this, they are here to protect everyone, she said, regardless of whether they have papers or not. Papers. And Ariane Sierra, 25, said her husband went into the facility just before 6 a.m. for a check-in for his asylum case. She and their 9-year-old son were waiting for him in the parking lot when they heard a series of pops. I thought they were fireworks, she said, but then they noticed sparks and smoke coming from a nearby building. She panicked, grabbed her son, and jumped into the car. They huddled in the front seat, trying to hide until officers arrived and escorted them into the facility. Inside, they were reunited with her husband, she said, but it was chaos. Chaos outside. Okay, that's in, there we go. We got a diagram of the building. Okay, public parking lot, location of the gunman, entrance for area for detainees. If this guy was going to try to kill ICE agents, he would have shot into the parking lot when they were getting out of their car. If this guy was actually trying to target ICE agents, especially with it's an easier shot all day. If this person was actually targeting ICE and like they wanted to kill the agents, they would have waited for them to get out of their car, especially since the roof is looking right over the parking lot and it's a harder shot. The suspect had an extensive online footprint, but very little on politics. You say he was targeting immigrants? Yeah, just like our federal government does every single day. Why wouldn't he? This guy comes from North Texas and he was living in Oklahoma. He fits the MAGA gang. He's one of y'all, for sure, in my opinion. The man suspected of the shooting in the Immigration and Customs Enforcement building in Dallas on Wednesday left a long record of himself online, but apparently little indication that he was politically active. Department of Homeland Security officials have called the law assault on the building a direct attack on ICE agents and law enforcement officials, pointing to engravings on rounds at the scene with the phrase anti-ICE as evidence. He has a Soviet social media account. You're a fucking loser. I got you. Don't worry. This is how much these losers believe anything they want, y'all. You already had this. So went off Laurel Loomer's reporting. Don't worry. I already got it. This is what he's going. This is what they're using as the communist thing, which the meme, it's a meme against communism, by the way. Because you're so fucking stupid. You're just Lyra. You're just a moron. I own you, okay? And there's not one MAGA narrative that will ever defeat me. I promise you that, including this one. This is an anti-communist meme. It's memeing on the commies. If you're actually smart on the fucking internet, which I'm not even the smartest, but apparently I am because I knew this one. So and the picture was uploaded today too, ironically enough. Weird, huh? Glorious Exposition Comrade is not a pro-commie fucking meme. It's making fun of them. I'm just, you know what? My bad. My bad for engaging. My bad. You know, at some point you just got to get rid of them. You just got to go. You just got to go. By the way, this is the rhetoric from right-wing politicians when it comes to immigration. I don't know. Can I play that? Did they get rid of that video? Because it was like she literally just shoots a person sitting there in the video. I wonder if they got rid of it. Okay. So holding him at gunpoint, tied to a chair, and shooting him in the back of the head. That's what she says is cheaper. Yep. It's not a real person. Obviously, I need to preface that.
It's that simple. Public executions for any illegal that rapes or kills an American. They don't deserve deportation. They deserve to be ended.
So that's the rhetoric coming from MAGA politicians about immigration and how it should be handled. And she can caveat the certain type of crime, but it's just bullshit. Joshua Jahn, drug addicted gamer leftist. Because he had a 2015 marijuana charge. Drug addicted gamer leftist. Boy. Stop using the word gamer term as negative. Leftist is fine, but we're not leftists and we're gamers. No, keep doing it. I hope the right wing starts attacking video games again like they did back in the 90s and 2000s. And that will destroy the gamer right wing fucks that exist. That have no reason to be right wing other than like their stupid game journalism that they watch on YouTube. Because oh god, dude, it's so bad. I'm starting to do it now. I'm starting to post video game journalism stuff because I'm going to show you that you stop watching right-wing bullshit for video games. It's the same thing as news and current events, but for video games, like the Quartering, this channel, this guy. But oftentimes these losers that are like heavily right-wing gamers do right-wing media in terms of news and don't even really talk about video games, honestly. The whole Gamergate thing and then what came of that. And you got to listen to right-wing crybaby. Is the woke in the game? Did they put woke in my game? Go find a different hobby. Or like, oh, Battlefield 6 is coming out. Is there woke in it? Fuck, can't stand it. Literally. So, gamer thing. I hope they continue that one because that will alienate gamers. And there's a lot of right-wing gamers. A lot of them. A lot. So I hope they continue that one. Jimmy Kimmel still refuses to admit it was a leftist who assassinated Charlie Kirk. Disgraceful. Because it wasn't. It was literally somebody that came from a right-wing family in a deep red state. And you tried to make him a leftist right away before any of the information came out. So just like this one. Any crime that comes out, any crime that happens. If you're a Ukraine supporter, this happened to you too, by the way, but now it's encompassing a larger group of people. Remember the time period? It still happens. Ukraine supporters that support my channel. Remember when anything bad happens in the world, who gets blamed for it? Well, like there was a time period where that happened. It still kind of happens depending on the media you're watching and where you're in and the niche you're in. So now it's going to be the same thing, but for the left now, which include Ukraine supporters now. So you're like included in that now. So anything bad that happens, the propaganda will be the left did it. The left did it. It used to be Obama. Thanks, Obama. That's where the thanks Obama meme came from. But now it's like they're not memeing anymore. They're like actually crying and like they're dead ass serious. Actually crying about it. They want to come after Discord chats. I mean, they already have been. In terms of the government, they've already been going into Discord.
Let me start off by saying that I'm a person who believes very, very strongly in the power of prayer, and that prayer changes things. And so I'm going to ask everyone,
thoughts and prayers.
Please join me in.
Europeans, do you guys think prayers are fixing gun violence in America, or you guys just keep waiting for the next shooting? It's like multiple a day. Prayers are for sure fixing it.
Praying for the families of the folks who lost their lives today.
Yeah, how about we reduce the amount of weapons that are on those streets and people that have access to them, and some Oklahoma looking white dude can grab a rifle and go and snipe people from a roof. Like, that's ridiculous.
Pray for the speedy recovery for those who are hurt and were injured in what happened today. But maybe even more to the point, we're a country and a city that needs prayer. So I'm going to ask you all to join me also in praying for this city, that we can come together at a time like this, and that we can be there for one another. The way
like the proper way prayers are employed here are advocating for gun control and reducing the amount of weapons on our streets and praying that happens. Not like just putting prayers at the situation. It does fucking nothing. Your actions have to come, and then you pray for the best after your actions happen. That's what you do.
We always have in times like this, to support one another and help us all get through this very difficult time, not just in our city, but in our country. And that's why I'd ask you to pray for our nation. There's a lot going on right now in our country. A lot of it's confusing. It's a scary time. I've got children. I've got 3 young children. And I'm here to tell you that it is challenging to explain to them what's going on in our country right now. But I said before, and I'll say
it's not challenging. We have a gun problem. What is the issue? Like, why is that hard to say? What are people dying? We're having a knife issue? Are people dying to knife stabbings? Is it COVID? Is COVID killing people again? What's killing people?
Again, I believe in the power of prayer to change things, and it can change the hearts of people. It can change this country. It can change the city. So please pray for everyone who was affected by today's tragedy. I also want to say thank you to the Dallas Police Department, and say thank you to the Dallas Sheriff's Department, Dallas County Sheriff's Department, Texas Department of Public Safety, and all of our various federal law enforcement partners who acted so quickly today to make sure that today's tragedy wasn't worse than what it was. So on behalf of the city of Dallas, I want to say thank you to all of you. And you're going to hear from some of those folks later, but I wanted to let you know that we appreciate what you all do, not just today, but every day, to help keep us all safe. And lastly, and this is really important, I would ask all of the city of Dallas residents who can hear me right now, let's be patient, let's remain calm, and let's let our law enforcement partners, our police department, do their job. This is an active investigation. There's still a lot of unanswered questions, and I want to encourage all of you to exercise a little bit of restraint and allow them to do their job to help make sure this continues.
The FBI director didn't. FBI director live tweets his thoughts while it's playing out. Dropping evidence before it's all out. Dropping little crumbs for you. FBI director ain't waiting for shit. Neither is the MAGA or the federal government.
Continues to be a safe city, and that they can help us figure out what happened here today. But with that, I want to say, again, thank you to all the folks who came out this morning from our law enforcement community. I'll turn it over to our police chief, Daniel Como, to speak a little bit more directly to the investigation itself.
Well, Ted Cruz was there.
And with that, Chief Como, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Today at approximately 6:40 a.m., we received a city officer call. We responded to the call, got to the scene, and we later learned that we had 4 individuals that were shot, 2 of them deceased, including the shooter. The DPD was able to locate the shooter who was deceased. We're going to be working this investigation shoulder to shoulder with our federal partners. The FBI is on scene, and right now I'm going to introduce you to the SAC of the Dallas Field Division, FBI Joe Rumrock.
Yeah, good morning. My name's Joe Rothrock. I'm the special agent in charge of the Dallas FBI Field Office. I want to first start by thanking our partners in local law enforcement, specifically the Dallas Police Department, for their quick and timely response. I can confirm at this time that the FBI is investigating this incident as an act of targeted violence. It is unfortunately just the most recent example we've seen of targeted violence, to include here in North Texas, where back on July 4th, we saw a coordinated attack carried out against an immigration detention center in Alvarado, Texas. What I can also share with you is that early evidence that we've seen from rounds that were found near the suspected shooter contain messages that are anti-ICE in nature. Again, this is just the most recent example of this type of attack. This will be a whole of government response. There will be no resource not utilized to bring all those individuals who are responsible to bring them to justice and to hold them accountable. While we're not releasing identities of any victims at this time, what I can confirm for you is no members of law enforcement were hurt during this attack. If any member of the public has information that would help the FBI's investigation, I would ask that you please report that to 1-800-CALL-FBI. Again, any piece of information will be helpful, but this will be an ongoing investigation between us, a number of federal partners, and our local partners, again, to ensure that anyone...
With the rhetoric and the videos and the content that this administration is putting out about immigrants and immigration and double downing on it, it is easier to connect a crazy person that hates immigrants based on this government's rhetoric to carry out an attack on immigrants than it is to carry an attack on the fucking ICE agents. And then they want to blame the rhetoric. So the shooter tried to ambush ICE agents. Brandon, you're the shooter that shot Charlie Kirk, or not Charlie Kirk, which whatever other shooter. Oh, the one that shot kids, the Catholic school kids that the right wing didn't give a fuck about. The shooter there was a big Brandon Herrera fan, massive Brandon Herrera fan.
All right.
Yeah, if you're ever a YouTuber and you have to make a video about I disavow the mass shooters manifesto that had my name in it, you're wrong. Like, this video's you're wrong. It's your fault. Your problem. Remember when you got to think back to you talk about YouTubers, how PewDiePie handled the situation when you had the Christchurch shooter or whatever it was that said subscribe to PewDiePie or whatever something, and then PewDiePie had to kill that entire movement, which was nothing but benefiting him. There was like a big battle back in the day. If you're not like familiar with YouTube, between this YouTube channel, which was the most subscribed channel, and it's still obviously PewDiePie's channel is one of the top channels on this whole platform. And then it was media, whatever. Fuck, I already forgot the name of them. Sorry, I'm cooked. What was the name of the media company he was going against? And it was like a viral campaign of like trying to subscribe to a T-Series. Thank you. Yes. Yep, T series, which they ended up winning that obviously by twofold. 304 million subscribers is a lot of subscribers, bro. But it was like, well, it was like kind of cool at the time, like one person against this giant, you know, media conglomerate of India, like the Indian, like the whole country basically, and everything, the whole weight of the Indian government and everything into this versus PewDiePie, and it was like a cute little thing until it wasn't, and then you had the shooter, whether, and they probably were just using it for the meme or whatever, which shooters, as we learn, do, that are invested into online culture and then take that into the real world and start killing kids or whatever. But PewDiePie killed that whole thing. He killed the whole movement of the subscribe to PewDiePie thing. And even though it was doing nothing but helping him in terms of getting his subscriber count higher, because people were making billboards, it was everywhere at the time. I think it was like 10, 15 years ago now. I can't remember when it was. But as soon as that shooter used that meme in his killing, that was it. And there was nothing PewDiePie did or did wrong. PewDiePie isn't a political creator either. That's why I wouldn't give the same amount of criticism of like PewDiePie and that shooter with that message that I would to like Brandon Herrera, because Brandon Herrera is a political creator.
This video is going to be a departure.
He is a political content creator. He is a right-wing politician, he does engage in all of that rhetoric. PewDiePie, well, has had some gaffes. The bridge, okay, that I wouldn't consider PewDiePie a fascist or a person that's trying to further like white nationalism, like Brendan Herrera is, and his politics and the people that support him. Okay, so that's why like I can separate the two. Like I would ascribe the shooter in Minneapolis that murdered those kids at the Catholic school, and I would put more pressure on Brendan Herrera about that than I would like in the PewDiePie situation from years past, because PewDiePie isn't a political creator, not a political content creator. He doesn't engage in that. Brendan Herrera absolutely does, and is that. Like, who are you talking to? Tried to ambush ICE agents, which again, this guy's never served in the military, but he aura farms it, if you guys can't tell. A lot of people do that. A lot of people that were too scared to actually serve or had some issues, bone spurs, LARP veteran aura, then hang around vets so they could like aura farm that. Brendan Herrera is one of those. Okay, the coolest thing I guess you can argue he's done was he did that 50 cal AK thing, his project that took him forever. But beyond that, ain't nothing there. Ain't nothing there valuable other than another right-wing grifter, really, at the end of the day. Anyways, all that to be, I went into that little rabbit because I saw his comments about the shooter. So, and he engages in all that. He engages in the left of this rhetoric, the ghost of the left. Anyways, back to the press conference.
Responsible is held accountable. With that, I will turn it over to my counterpart from the ICE Enforcement and Removal Office.
Good morning. My name is Joshua Johnson. I'm the acting field office director for ICE Dallas. I'll be brief with my comments, but I do want to start off by saying thank you to the Dallas Police Department, Dallas FBI, HSI, CBP, ATF, and virtually every law enforcement officer in North Texas for your support. This is the second time I've had to stand in front of you and talk about a shooter at one of my facilities, and I think that the takeaway from all of this is that the rhetoric has to stop. There are people out there who are seeing what is being placed online, and they're coming and they're doing acts of violence against ICE employees. So that's kind of all I have for today, is that it's just got to stop. It's dangerous, and people are losing their lives. Thank you.
Thank you all so much for coming. We really appreciate it. Again, thank you all so much. As it was said here today, if you do have any information, reach out to 1-800-CALL-FBI. Thank you. Thank you.
This needs to stop. Violence is wrong. Politically motivated violence is wrong.
How do you know it was politically motivated violence, you fucking weasel? They did the same shit when Charlie Kirk was murdered. How do you know that? Because there was those Sharpie pen of anti-ice on literally one of the bullets that wasn't used. And like, I like how it was like, they were like, oh, let's put it in Make sure it's on like the 4th bullet, because you can't put it on the 1st. That would be too obvious. Put it on like the middle clip of the clip. Just narrative driving before any of the actual facts about it, which is why I caveated all my conspiracy theories with my opinion, because I don't have facts to back up how I feel yet. Or will I? I don't know. Probably not, but I still have feelings. But you need facts to go with them. And if you don't have facts to go with them, then guess what? They're just feelings. You can have feelings. That's fine. But it doesn't make them facts. The right wing taught me that, I guess. But now they don't believe in that. So that's a left wing thing now. That's woke. Facts don't care about your feelings is woke now, guys.
Violence is wrong. Politically motivated violence is wrong. It was 2 weeks ago today that we saw a political assassination in Utah that tore the heart out of much of this country. This is the 3rd shooting in Texas directed at ICE or CBP. This must stop.
Stop calling the Gestapo, guys.
To every politician who is using rhetoric, demonizing ICE and demonizing CBP, stop.
No.
To every politician demanding that ICE agents be doxxed and calling for people to go after their families, stop.
I can see Trump staging another situation, because he's not gonna martyr himself. Trump loves himself too much to do that. So it'll be another stage like event around Trump, and like then it's gonna make it so we can't criticize Trump because we're just fueling. Which they tried to do that already. They tried, but now they have the country primed with this gun violence to do it for Trump now and do it again. So just expect that. Expect another false flag around Trump or a stupid fucking administration, in my opinion. That is going to happen, in my opinion, which will then further the ability to criticize him, because then they'll say the criticizing is contributing to the violence. Words are violence now. I know that's what the liberals used to say, but we say it now, okay? It's fine. We actually don't have any values.
This has very real consequences. Look, in America, we disagree. That's fine. That's the democratic process. But your political opponents are not Nazis. We need to learn to work together without...
No, just MAGA. Nope. I have plenty of political opponents that aren't Nazis. I have plenty of people that I disagree with that aren't Nazis. MAGA... you know what the MAGA as a movement is. Not everybody that is MAGA is, but you're following a Nazi movement, and you need useful idiots for those types of movements. So if anything, you're like a useful at best, you're a useful idiot. But like then it's from useful idiot to Nazi, and there's like no really in between. Okay, there's people that used to be MAGA that have fallen off that are conservative, and they're conservatives. And then there's useful idiots, and then there's Nazis. And the MAGA that are full on into this, that support the deportations in the manner that they're being carried out, that support the bigotry, the attacks on political opponents, actually, that are coming from Trump, his behavior at the UN, handling of the Epstein files. I mean, if you support all of that, then you are a Nazi, and you should accept that, honestly, because that's what it is. You support this fascism. You support the actions that are being carried out by the federal government. And if anything, yeah, accept that. You're going to cry and be victim because you hate being called what you are. Being MAGA. I'm speaking at the ghost of MAGA that exists. If MAGA can talk at the left, I'll talk at MAGA. That's not in the room with me. MAGA's in the room with me right now. But I got to talk at them because I don't want to, it's, you know, I recognize that there are conservatives that aren't MAGA at all, and they reject that. So I'm trying to I'm not calling them conservatives anymore. We'll call them exactly what they are, which is MAGA Nazis, and then useful idiots for MAGA that are like adjacent, but have like they're questioning right now, but yet still like won't vote against MAGA. They'll vote for Trump because they're cucked.
Demonizing each other without attacking each other. And I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to the brave men and women of law enforcement. I want to say thank you to the brave men and women of ICE and CBP and everyone who puts their lives on the line to keep us safe. The divisive rhetoric tragically has real consequences.
I'm literally like 1,300 viewers away from Laura Loomer's viewership on YouTube, and I have a fraction of the following. I'm not worried about Laura Loomer. She's loud on X, but if you remove X, there's really nothing going on. This platform seems loud. and they can make moves, and you can have people call, and like you'll get calls and shit from getting doxxed or whatever. But if you like leave this app for a day or two, all of that noise kind of like dies away, because it really is just on this app. They have no pull or power anywhere else. Laura Loomer gets like 2,000 viewers on a stream with her platform. Like only a couple thousand people watch her shit. She's got 1.8 million. I would stop doing content if I had 1 million followers and I had like only a couple thousand viewers. Now you're done. You're like, what are you doing? You're just doing the propaganda for X. No one's actually watching her.
I hope that every one of us will pray. Number one, for the safety of law enforcement that are risking their lives to keep us safe. Number two, for the health of those who were shot and injured today. We still don't know the full details of who was injured, but for the families also of the victims of this shooting. Violence has no place. It is wrong. And we should come together. If we want to have a debate about immigration policies, we can do so in the halls of Congress without demonizing each other, and especially without demonizing the men and women who every day put on a badge and go risk their lives to keep us safe. And we should not be putting language out there that inspires madmen to commit evil crimes. Our prayers are with them.
In which those crimes are only carried out against the immigrants.
Men and women of law enforcement, and we ought to come together and have some decency across the political aisle to say this violence is wrong and it needs to stop.
Senator, have you been told that immigrant detainees were the victims of today's shooting?
My understanding is the details of who the victims are still being ascertained, so I don't want to go ahead of law enforcement releasing these details. What they have said is that no law enforcement was injured, and so that's a natural inference, but I don't know the details.
Special Agent, can you talk a little bit about some of the evidence you mentioned are perfect? Just for clarity, I think it's a lot of questions. Our understanding is that some of the shell casings had specific writing that was relevant to...
Asking about the shell agent, the shell
I'm not going to
casing.
go into any more details at this time. We will come back to you when we have more details to share. Again, our goal here will be transparency as those details become available. But we are still in the early stages of an investigation. Information is still coming in. When we have more details, we will come back to this group. I'm not going to be identifying victims at this time. The only thing I will confirm at this time is no law enforcement was injured. Certainly you can respect law enforcement's need to make notifications. At this point in time, we're not going to take any additional questions from law enforcement. Again, I'd ask for you to respect the fact that this is an ongoing investigation, and as more details come available...
We're not asking for the names of the victims.
I understand.
General sense if the victims are the detainees.
The only thing I can say right now is no law enforcement was injured this morning as part of the attack. I won't be taking any more...
Yeah, no law enforcement injured, but it was a targeted attack on the ICE, though. Seems kind of stupid on the shooter's part. You shoot 3 immigrants and you're anti-ICE. Something doesn't seem right. Yeah, I wonder why. It's time to start arresting media for inciting violence. You're there. You're right in the first half. Oh wow, even brain broken people are like, this doesn't seem right. This seems weird. Why would anti-ICE shooter shoot immigrants? The shooter had anti-ICE slogans on bullets, but shot kill detainees. This couldn't be a better example of how thoroughly incoherent the ideology of shooters is. They're nuts. Or how about this shooter wanted to shoot the immigrants because of the rhetoric from this government and the propaganda that they put out on a daily basis that encourage violence against immigrants, actually. And then Kash Patel thinking, we better make this out to be a leftist. Put the words on the bullet afterwards. That's more of a story that I believe to be the case than what we're hearing from the feds themselves and this government. That's what I believe. I believe this dude wanted to go kill immigrants because of the rhetoric that's being put out there by the federal government every day and the propaganda that's being put out there. And then to dress it up and make it fit the left is crime narrative of the ghost of the left out here. That's just crime. Crime is the left now, I guess. Write the anti-ICE bullshit on there. Anti-ICE. Get the hell out of here, dude. Get all the way the hell out of here. Nope. Not going for it. I'm personally not going for it. You guys can decide how you feel about it. We'll get to that. You save that one. Yeah, Betty had a good take earlier. I saw. Betty's good about posting geopolitics too. Wait, what? Trump's big economic idea is to bail out the Argentine economy? Yesterday, POTUS and I spoke extensively with President Javier Milei and his senior team in New York as president. Oh, so you're telling me the Afuera guy, the guy that was all based and red pilled Javier Milei that saved Argentina by getting rid of the woke. He needs money? Wow, you don't say. Wow. Got rid of all of the department, all of his departments and shit. Was like, got rid of them. Guy will save so much money. So much money is going to be saved, and they need help. Wow, there you go. There's your taxpayer money going to Argentina. I wonder if all the MAGA that had some sideways shit to say about Ukraine will say anything about this, about our taxpayer money going to another country that isn't ours for literally fuck all. Actually, here, I support my taxpayer money going to Ukraine because they're fighting a fight that I believe in and a fight that I support against the Russian imperialism. So fine by me there, actually. They'd have to have a good faith debate to convince other Americans, which I'm okay with, as to why that's in their interest to do the same. But that's a debate to have. That's actually good faith debates to talk about. Argentina, though? The fuck we send in a single dollar to Argentina, other than their globalist right-wing agenda, actually. And that's what this is. All of that was a projection, guys. If you come from, especially if you come from conservative world, and you're like me, it's far easier to understand all the things we heard was a projection. There's globalism, but it's the fascist one. Ain't no globalist leftist aura. That doesn't exist. It's actual planned far right politicians that are trying to inject or trying to undo the progress that the world's had for the past whatever. Likely funded by Russia, likely funded by the Zionists because they have their goals in the Middle East. And obviously having progressive people pay attention to Israel's actions in the Middle East is bad. So they have to course correct the world, or try to, and bring us away from this progressive world. So that way evil people can do things in the quiet again, like they always could. And it's much harder to now with the internet and our ability to see things quickly. And that world for fascists was deteriorating. And so the only way that they can bring it back is by globalizing their fascism, and they're the actual globalists that want to do this. So that's why they're helping Javier Milei, because he's one of their characters. He's one of the far right globalist characters in this story of MAGA, and MAGA knows him too. So they might support it because they know Javier Milei. There's really nothing else. Highly respected president of Argentina, Javier Milei has been proven to be a truly fantastic and powerful leader for the great people of Argentina, advancing on all levels at record speed. Argentina has collapsed.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for joining. And a special thank you to every single one of you who has become a subscriber on Substack, Patreon. Here, Argentina is on the edge. In recent weeks, the South American country has found itself on the verge of financial and political collapse. Again, the peso is in free fall, inflation is resurging, and foreign investors are bolting. In the eye of the storm is President Javier Milei, Argentina's libertarian leader who campaigned, as you may recall, on slashing government waste, on
The best thing libertarians can do is not take power. Ever.
crushing inflation, and as he put it, on making Argentina free again. But today, Milei faces his biggest crisis yet. And right now, in an unexpected geopolitical twist, President Trump is stepping in to help Milei. Trump is ready to rescue Milei with the full backing of the American Treasury. So how did this begin? We will cover this in great detail. First things first, how did it all begin? On September the 22nd, just 15 minutes before Argentina's markets opened, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent sent shockwaves airwaves through global financial circles. He posted on social media, Besson declared Argentina a systemically important U.S. ally and promised that, quote, all options for stabilization are on the table. His message ended with a quite bold and unmistakable slogan, Argentina will be great again. The timing wasn't coincidental, of course. We understand that. Argentina's central bank had just burned through.
Libertarians are Republicans that like smoking weed. That's all it is. That's really just what it is.
And
then when they get baked and high, they can like sound like they can sound better, but then the high goes away and then they're back to being Republican again.
Over $1 billion in reserves in a desperate attempt to stop the peso from collapsing. And it failed. That was a failure. The currency briefly breached its government-imposed trading ban, hitting 1,475 pesos to the dollar, sparking full-blown panic in markets already shaken by political chaos, corruption scandals, and fears of another sovereign default. Trump and Milei are now meeting this week in New York.
What's their connection? Why are we in bed with Argentina though?
They are now meeting this week in New York. They will be joined by Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent.
I have my theory of the globalist right agenda, actually, the projection one that they always lie about. But like, what's the economic connection, I guess?
Plan for what could become one of the boldest international financial interventions of the Trump era. Though still unofficial, discussions reportedly include direct dollar support.
Do they have resources? What's Argentina's rare earth looking like? What does Argentina have? We're not doing this for nothing. Like they have something we want. Oh boy, lithium and okay, yeah. We're gonna bail them out so we control the resources. Same thing we're doing to Ukraine.
So Argentina will be provided with U.S. dollars, swap lines, and purchases of U.S. dollar-denominated Argentinian debt through America's Exchange Stabilization Fund. The fund is effectively a pool with over $200 billion available.
Former Nazis? I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
How markets have responded with a sign of relief. The peso rebounded 4%.
Current Nazis.
Argentinian bonds climbed up somewhat. Local stocks actually increased about 6% from what I saw. But don't be fooled. This calm is temporary because this rescue, as we will discuss in just a second, and if that happens at all, may only buy Milei some time.
Yeah, that'll go well. Does the MAGA not care that midterms are closer now than they were when you started? You know, it's been like 9 months now, or 8 months or whatever. You know that like there was already 75 million Americans that were like, I'm going to vote against him. There's more now. And you want to talk about we're bailing out Argentina and Americans can't even afford groceries still? Because Trump didn't improve anything in the economic situation. Nothing improved. Gas prices haven't improved. Groceries haven't come down. People still can't afford shit. Prices are still going up. Nothing's changed. And he campaigned on like this domestic, like, we're going to make everything affordable again. And like, whatever. He lied as usual. And then now we're giving money to Argentina. That'll go well. That'll go super well right now, as his approval ratings are already at the lowest. Like as noisy as the gun violence is right now, and it's still all important, and as noisy as the rhetoric from the right is, that doesn't change from the fact that this is the most unpopular administration in U.S. history. Only to his first one. There have been the biggest protests in U.S. history that have taken place in this administration that we're in the last 9 months, and we've been to most of them.
So what went wrong? Just 6 months ago, Javier Milei was being hailed by the West as Argentina's economic savior. He had secured over $40 billion in multilateral loans, launched sweeping austerity measures, and crushed annual inflation from nearly 300% in April down to just 34% in August. But behind these promising numbers was what turned out to be a fatal miscalculation.
As usual.
Peso and sovereign bonds collapsed after the central bank executed its largest largest daily dollar sale in 5 months, as political defeats for President Milei caused investors to fear that his fiscal austerity program is under threat. Pressure mounted on the peso as institutional investors rushed to dollarize their holdings, forcing the central bank to sell $379 million to meet demand. It was the bank's biggest single-day intervention since April of this year, just before currency controls were eased. In his obsession with destroying inflation, Milei kept the peso too strong, artificially defended through interventions, through central bank interventions, that is, interest rate hikes and central bank sales. This policy curbed inflation, yes, it did, but it also choked economic growth, it widened the trade deficit, and it effectively eroded Argentina's dollar reserves. By the time political trouble came
skill issue?
Knocking on the door, the country was dangerously exposed and near collapse. The shock arrived when Milei's coalition suffered a humiliating defeat in Buenos Aires province, which is effectively Argentina's political heartland. The message was very clear: the public was losing patience. Milei's sister, also his chief of staff, by the way, was then implicated.
His sister's his chief of staff? Oh my god.
In the corruption scandal. His alliance.
They always are. Wait till the Democrats take back power and we see the corruption of this administration in 4K. You already have some, by the way. That's came out silently. We'll get to that in a second.
In Congress unraveled, and as confidence collapsed, so did the peso.
Yeah, Tom Homan. You guys hear about that one? You hear about Tom Homan's bribe? We'll get there.
In desperation, Milei tried everything he could. He scrapped export taxes to entice farmers to release hoarded crops. He called for national unity. That's the typical move. He deployed dwindling dollar reserves to prop up the exchange rate, but it wasn't enough. It just wasn't going to do much. Investors saw through the smoke, and so he turned to Washington. He had no other way out. Now, Milei is gambling on the power of U.S. financial support, not just to defend the peso, but to defend his presidency. For Milei, there's no doubt that this is the moment when literally everything is at stake. Besant's proposed toolkit includes swap lines and direct purchases from Argentina's government, but analysts warn that unless Milei reforms his currency regime and restores investor confidence, which will be extremely difficult for him to do at this point, no amount of American dollars will be enough to save him. There's also a political risk that Trump can solve. In October, in just several weeks, Argentina will hold midterm elections, and the libertarian president's control over Congress is hanging by a thread. His opponents, mainly the left-wing Peronists, of course, have already overturned one of his spending vetoes and are pushing through more. Without a stronger mandate, Milei's reform agenda will stall, and if he loses again, markets could spiral. But that is not all. There's more bad news for Milei. Beyond 2025 looms a bigger threat: the potential return of Axel Kicillof, who is a Peronist firebrand, I would say, and economic populist who gained political momentum after Milei's collapse in Buenos Aires. Investors fear a return to Argentina's old economic playbook, which includes capital controls, spending binges, and debt defaults. So the big question is, after having covered the recent developments briefly, the big question is, can Trump's dollars actually fix Argentina? Economists say probably not, at least not alone. Alejandro Werner, who is the head of the IMF's Western Hemisphere department, warns that U.S. help without political support is not sufficient. What Argentina needs is a credible and cohesive economic strategy. It also needs political stability, and perhaps most of all, it needs trust. Right now, it lacks all three. Even inside Milei's own camp, cracks are showing, and they're getting wider. A former top advisor who resigned earlier this year says the current exchange rate policy is just simply unsustainable. He believes U.S. support should come with strict conditions, including allowing the peso to float, building dollar reserves, and also stopping market-distorting interventions. So where does this all go? Best case scenario would involve U.S. support stabilizing the peso, of course, Milei surviving the midterms with enough seats to revive his agenda, and Argentina, against all odds, securing a path toward growth and debt repayment, which right now...
Okay, skill issues that we're going to be bailing them out, okay? Bunch of Javier Milei skill problems and miscalculations, which always happen with these types of people, because they don't know what they're talking about or doing in politics or for societies because they're closed-minded. This language incites violence and terrorism. Governor Gavin Newsom calls ICE arresting illegal aliens authoritarian actions by an authoritarian government. Okay.
That's happening in the United States of America. Masked men jumping out of unmarked cars, people disappearing, no due process, no oversight, zero accountability, happening in the United States of America today. People ask, well, is authoritarianism, you're being hyperbolic? Bull, we're being hyperbolic. If you're a black and brown community, it's here in this country. And so I'm deeply proud that I had the privilege of signing the nation's first bill to address the issue of masking. Also to require, you have simple identification, to your point. I mean, if some guy jumped out of an unmarked car.
And what a spin, too. What a turn from the Republican Party that was supposed to be about small government. Small government. And yet you got them out here simping for and literally booting, like the full boot, like the whole thing. Like they're going the other way with it. They're not putting it foot first. It's like they're going off of like the top and like, they're like trying to get it in that way over the federal government. Have you thought about ICE's feelings, guys?
A van with a mask on tried to grab me. I mean, by definition, you're going to push back. And so these are not just authoritarian tendencies. These are authoritarian actions by an authoritarian government. You saw what Stephen Miller said last week. This should put chills up fine. Called the Democratic Party an extremist organization, basically a terrorist organization, saying he's going after his enemies. You saw the tweet that Donald Trump sent out, Truth Social, basically telling Pam Bondi, I want these 3 people taken out. That's happening in the United States.
Yeah. This language is violent to terrorism. Biden is descended into raving authoritarian madness. 25th Amendment. MAGA proposals are a threat to the very soul of this country. Biden was correct, as usual. Oh, weird. 2022. Yep, that's the year things started going MAGA is a threat again, but people didn't care. People like got, I don't know, but it was so recent too, COVID and everything and the end of Trump's presidency, but Americans were so lazy and so unpolitically connected, I guess. They gave up. They were tired. COVID and Trump tired them out, and then they got lazy and forgot about the bad Trump did. But Biden was always right about that. Stephen Miller, 17, advocating for the use of torture.
To the issue of the Iraqi civilians, I think that as many of them should survive as possible, because the goal of any military conflict is to kill as few people as possible. But as for Saddam Hussein and his henchmen, I think the ideal solution would be to cut off their fingers. I don't think it's necessary to kill them entirely. We're not a barbaric people. We respect life. Therefore, torture is the way to go. Because torture people can live. Torture is a celebration of life and human dignity. We need to remember that as we enter these very dark and dangerous times in the next century. And I only hope that many of my peers and people who will be leading this country will appreciate the value and respect that torture shows towards other cultures.
That's MAGA's hero, Stephen Miller. Somehow. The alpha male, red pill, roid community. This is your hero. Alpha male, manly men, man's men, doing man stuff. This is your guy.
That party does not fight for, care about, or represent American citizens. It is an entity devoted exclusively to the defense of hardened criminals, gangbangers, and illegal alien killers and terrorists. The Democrat Party is not a political party. It is a domestic extremist organization. That party.
Mark Cuban has a take. We'll do the Jimmy Kimmel one next. I'm just like going through ICE shit, and like it's just what it is. Okay, ICE, gun violence, First Amendment censorship. We're just gonna go in a circle. This might backfire in the long run. Mark Cuban take on it looks like Kimmel. They're affiliated with broadcast networks who have been putting their best scripted shows on their streamers. If they're afraid to invest as much as they previously had in the new content for broadcast beyond sports, news, and reality, because the largest group of stations might not show them, the economics of the shows change completely. I mean, yeah, it would. There's more money to be made by yourself now. I mean, no, I shouldn't say that. There's opportunity. I mean, you can do it now, I should say. I don't know if you're going to get this much money by working for Disney, or obviously you'll make millions, immediate millions. But you can, it's possible to do it by yourself too, I guess, but obviously not as easy. But yeah, if they're going to treat their talent like they did to Jimmy, and Jimmy can go on YouTube and do YouTube stuff or whatever platform, but obviously YouTube is fine. YouTube, you can, I pay my bill. I've been living for 5 years off of YouTube, so, and I don't plan on stopping. YouTube can, you know, you can 16 million views on YouTube.
Breaking news on,
as I already told you guys, YouTube views way more than anything. YouTube views way more than all the other social media platforms. Facebook too. I have Facebook. I have Twitch. And a view on YouTube holds infinite more weight. Especially on this X that I already showed yesterday. If you watched yesterday's stream, they had some people posting like, I bet you this hot dog will get more views than Jimmy Kimmel or something. Which these views mean nothing. You get paid for them. Elon pays you. So whatever. Elon's money. But it's nothing compared to like the 199,000 views on this tweet means infinitely less than if you were to get 199,000 views in a YouTube video. Okay? Like, it means it's fuck all. These numbers were added for these grifters. They didn't used to track views on your tweet until Elon took over to give these fucking people more like things to huff, more grifter copium, because they feel like they're going huge. You got like another metric of your view, which is if you're a creator, you can see your views anyways. You go to your studio or whatever platform you're on, and you can look at your numbers. Pokemon issues a statement to TMZ regarding the Department of Homeland Security's Pokemon-themed ICE arrests video. We are aware of a recent video posted by the Department of Homeland Security that includes imagery and language associated with our brand. Our company was not involved in the creation or distribution of this content, and permission was not granted for the use of our... So sue them. Do what you usually do. Do what you usually do. We were not involved in this. As I already played this video for you guys earlier. It's the catch 'em all. So. I wanna be. Yeah, I already played that earlier. Okay. Unclear if the honchos at Pokemon are considering any other options here. Sometimes, like all the time with Pokemon, they're fighting Pal World right now. Over the perceived take of their. Yeah, they're Pokemon and Pal World are news. Lawsuit. I gotta type a lawsuit. Nintendo argues mods should not count as prior art and Pocket Parent. Nintendo argues mod. Okay, so Nintendo's involved into it. Whatever. So there's a game that came out called Pal World, and it's like its own type of game, but it's like Pokemon with guns, basically. Like you got like Pokemon looking characters, they're their own characters though. But anyways, so Pokemon's suing them because the concept is very similar, and they have guns though. So there you go. Whatever. Very popular game. But they are not afraid of being litigious. So if they want to make a move, they could do that, and they should do that. They wouldn't dare to sue. They risk getting deported. Yeah, average crypto Web3 DeFi take here. Tylenol guy. We have a leftist terror epidemic. You had another one too from the DHS and the ICE that included Theo Von. Oh, they deleted it? Oh, they deleted it. They used Theo Von's image. The video, for those who didn't see it before it was scrubbed, yep.
Heard you got deported, dude. Bye.
Yeah, ICE posted this, or the Department of Homeland Security posted this, but now they deleted it.
They simply stopped coming. They're not coming anymore. We're getting a lot of credit, but they're not coming anymore.
So you have some loser making viral video TikToks of our deportations and shit, and like doing trends. So obviously you had Theo Von at the beginning, who, I mean, you reap what you sow. You're the one that made this statement.
Heard you got deported, dude. Bye.
I mean, if you don't say that, then your words aren't going to be used for the fascism that's being carried out. So Theo Von said before, obviously you can see it was deleted. DHS, I didn't approve to be used in this. I know you know my address, so send a check. But they didn't want to send a check, so they deleted it. And please take this down, and please keep me out of your banger deportation videos. When it comes to immigration, my thoughts and heart are a lot more nuanced than this video allows. Well, then maybe, you know.
Heard you got deported, dude. Bye.
Bye. Like, you know, I mean, and when you're engaging in, Theo Von engages in right-wing aura all the time. So what do you think they're going to use your words? They use it. They use you. Okay. Before we get to the Jimmy Kimmel stuff, I'm just going through some various postings from the day and what's been going on. So Nick Shirley, common feature of the stream, said he was sexually assaulted. They wished this is the guy that went to Ukraine and lied about what was happening in Ukraine, but also many other situations. He was in New York and like had the police help him. He tagged along with the ICE raid in Minneapolis. He tags along with multiple ICE raids so he can get the content and do propaganda immediately. So they embed with ICE.
Hello. He's a racist piece of shit. He's a dirty white piece of shit.
I am?
Yeah, let me show my tape.
Oh, okay. My bad, y'all. My bad.
Black and brown lives matter.
Black lives matter, white lives matter, all lives matter. We see him, we see him. We see him.
That's she's a famous protester. What's her name? Crackhead Barney. Damn it.
Nope. I would.
Well, I mean, you guys already saw Romanian sausage on stream by accident one year, so there you go. You get that too now.
Get that out of here. No. Hey, stop. I don't want to see your titties.
Okay, we can't play this video apparently because it keeps going. Anyways, so he got trolled. Got to see some titties for the first time in his life. So W's there. W's all around. There you go. Who is this guy? He's a MAGA propagandist. I mean, I keep telling you, Nick Shirley. I mean, how could you be mad? You're walking around getting titties put in your face. I mean, how could you really be mad at that? I was sexually assaulted. Protesters in New York City are blocking roads and screaming "Fuck Charlie Kirk" in Times Square.
Fuck Charlie Kirk! Fuck Charlie Kirk! Fuck Charlie Kirk! Fuck Charlie Kirk!
Based. Okay. All right. Well, that happened. So that happened to Nick Shirley, I guess. MAGA podcaster Benny Johnson called the Charlie Kirk Memorial the single arguably largest advancement of the kingdom of Christ in history.
It's not Sunday, but let's preach. Fight for Charlie. If you witnessed, if you watched online yesterday, or if you were physically there, who was physically there?
From 11 at night.
You were all part of history. You were part of Christendom history.
Christendom history. Christendom history. Yep, that makes more sense.
The advancement of the kingdom, the single, arguably largest advancement of the kingdom of Christ, happened yesterday live, and we were all witness to it. We were all part of it. It's
not the acoustic music too in the background. A rice jag fire, but one every week. One every day. More like every day at this point. Literally, wake up something. Wake up, new shooting. Wake up, new protesters. New thing. Trump shares video of supporters saying the only good Democrat is a dead Democrat. From the press office of Newsom. Newsom, I like, all right, Newsom, respect again. But I need to see it. Like, you're doing well standing up to MAGA, but you gotta treat the protesters better and not do what you did to crush the protests. And that were absolutely peaceful. The first few weren't. They weren't. The first couple. With the police and the unit under the bridge that put themselves there. After that, though, like usual, there were protests. The protesters had signs and everything, and you got to let them protest. So work on that in LA and get that fixed. But beyond that, fighting against Trump is fine. Okay, so shell casings that say anti-ICE instead of something like fuck ICE or abolish ICE. Exactly. Exactly. If there was someone that, which by the way, I'm just gonna be honest, someone that is like actual against the ICE like this is not gonna take to violence to them like this. They're not going to, because they recognize the power of the federal government, and like that's gonna do nothing to abolish ICE or to get rid of them by taking it to violence like this. It's through policy changes and through politicians that aren't supportive of making the ICE a fascist entity. And they would write fuck ICE or abolish ICE, which are the two commonly used leftist anti-ICE messages or whatever that are shown. It's not anti-ICE. Have you ever been to all the protests we've shown? Have you ever seen a sign that just says anti-ICE on it? You might now for the memes. I bet you will now. I bet you there you'll see, or people will have signs of the other memes and the bullets. People will have them because this is such an obvious such an obvious dick around. Like no one's believing this. I'm not going with it. I try to avoid being conspiracy brain on breaking news, but anti-ICE is really testing my resolve. I mean, give it up. I gave it up. I always caveat with it's my opinion, and I don't have facts, obviously, but this is ridiculous. Literally, go fuck yourself, Kash Patel. Charlie Kirk Memorial. They have a new video from Channel 5 at the Charlie Kirk Memorial. We're going to get to Kimmel next.
This is his quote. He said this about the death penalty. He wanted public executions. And I think it's very ironic that he got publicly executed. Too many people are feeling bad for him. I think we should respect his beliefs. He didn't believe in empathy. So I think we should respect his beliefs and not have any empathy for him.
I agree.
If people are crying about Charlie, why aren't they crying about the school shootings?
Literally, bro. Oh my God.
I'm an educator. I have been trained to die for children. We're supposed to jump in front of the gun, counting or not counting gang violence. This is his.
Where is she at? Does she have a platform? I'd like to hear more from her. And put her on the mic a little bit more. If you're a man and you see the pleading eyes of a girl looking up for protection, more Irina Zarutska death aura grifting farming.
Moment where she looks up at her attacker and she covers her mouth, and you
told you they're connecting the Irina Zarutska murder and Charlie Kirk murder because they're both white people. That's what it is. The focus is because Irina Zarutska's white, Charlie Kirk white, and they can apply that to the rhetoric as well. But they're really aura farming that this is the left because black man, therefore BLM, therefore left wing. And then you got the immediate that they labeled the shooter of Charlie Kirk leftist. That's why. That's what this is happening. That's why it's being connected. That's why you're hearing about Irina Zarutska still, not because they give a fuck about her murder, not because they give a fuck that she died, is because they're using her as a tool. And they will for as long as until they get actual pushback for it, which I will.
Realize what's going through her head. She knows that something very terrible has happened to her, and I hope that she didn't realize it for too long because that is unimaginable suffering. But if you're a man, I don't care what skin color you are, I don't care whether you're rich or poor, but if you're a man and you see the pleading eyes of a girl looking up for protection, then we have to protect our girls and our women in this country.
By trafficking them through the president of the United States. And well, Jeffrey Epstein's not around. I wonder who the new Epstein is. The gunman had anti-ice messages carved on the bullets he used. What precisely did I get wrong, dipshit? This is our vice president of the United States, chat. This is our vice president. Quote tweeting John Favreau, who isn't the one that everyone did. Nice. Puts dipshit in this. Amazing. That's how you deal with that. The vice president is not a reliable source of information. This is now the 5th or 6th time he's posted a political take contradicted by facts from his own law enforcement agencies. So now the FBI offers no acknowledgement that the detainees were killed and only mentions anti-ICE messaging. Maybe just provide all the facts, even the ones that don't fit your narrative. Literally. And then you got this dick suck too. God, dude, it's like if you use Twitter for more than 5 minutes, you learn who all the characters are on this app now. This is one of them. This fucking looks like I wish she could have froze to death out there. Just freeze. Just freeze. Who was shot? Law enforcement or immigrants? If immigrants were the only ones shot, why is he attacking law enforcement? The dick sucks, dude. Vance 1, Favreau 0. Because he called him dipshit. Yes, you smug, self-righteous prick. J.D. Vance did not get it in the right. Those bullets were etched with anti-ICE sentiments, a vile testament to the festering hatred spewed by some deranged leftist lunatic. The FBI's own Kash Patel laid out the evidence like a goddamn roadmap. This can't be a real person. Dark MAGA. Alpha cunt. Exorcist of the liberal. Oh, Russian. Nice. Russian bot number 4626. So I'm telling you guys, people get fooled by bots that literally just got to put the most cringy, you meme on it. Like you meme the MAGA aura, you make it your account, and then you just say the most cringe shit ever, and like you'll have real losers that think you're a real person. Wow, what a holy fuck. Did you have ChatGPT say write this in a anime monologue? Oh, and this exquisite irony, this trigger-happy aim-challenged commie fuckwit had the precision of a blindfolded toddler managing to off 2 detainees instead of his intended ICE targets. What a magnificent clusterfuck of incompetence. Anime villain shit, dude. So the right-wing shooter wanted to kill ICE detainees who are being processed for deportation. Who knows? How do you know they're being deported? Detainees doesn't mean they're going to be sent away. No stream tonight. I'm planning embeds of the Donetsk front now that I'm back in Ukraine, and messing around with drone simulators will make up for lack of stream. The debate. Oh boy. Oh god. This guy's a fucking loser, by the way. Oh my god, dude. Gotta make sure I load up on the Tylenol before that one. Because Drew has gone full right wing. He's another one where like Ukraine was so thirsty for people that supported Ukraine or the pro-Ukraine community, but didn't give a fuck about any other politics or what anything else they say. But they support Ukraine. You have the Ukraine picture in their bio, so they're good. They're good people. Easiest grift. Put the Ukraine picture in, and then say everything else that would be antithetical to Ukraine's future, which is democracy and freedom, which we're fighting against in America. Okay, which Jimmy Kimmel fought against, and so did many of you who canceled your Disney Plus and whatever to try to give it back to what Disney did to Jimmy Kimmel, as well as the federal government, and using the FCC to directly suppress his speech. 16.6 million views, 1.1 million likes. It's a lot of those are big numbers on YouTube, chat. That's big numbers.
On Jimmy Kimmel and autism.
Jimmy Kimmel coming back to late night television.
ABC chose to bring back their low rating nighttime host.
We are in for a monologue that will be a marker in late night show history.
It's going to be in a moment. Yeah, no question, a huge moment in American history.
One of the most pivotal moments in broadcast history.
He will be delivering what is being dubbed the most anticipated monologue in late night in years.
Maybe we should change? Yeah.
From Hollywood, it's Jimmy Kimmel Live. Tonight, Glenn Powell and music.
Got like a big standing ovation. And apparently, despite the numbers on the video, which prove itself, and I think Jimmy Kimmel is funny. There was some weird, like when Jimmy Kimmel got canceled, a lot of like leftist people on the left, creators, liberals, leftists, had to preface, I don't think Jimmy Kimmel funny, but yeah, I think he is funny. Not always. Not as funny as Colbert, not as funny as Jon Stewart. Oh, I can't stop laughing listening to Jon Stewart, but I still think Jimmy Kimmel's funny. He's got some funny shit to say.
Thank you. Anyway, as I was saying before I was interrupted, if you're just joining us, we are preempting your regularly scheduled encore episode of Celebrity Family Feud to bring you this special report. I'm happy to be here tonight with you. I'm not sure who had a weirder 48 hours, me or the CEO of Tylenol. It's been overwhelming. I've heard from a lot of people over the last 6 days. I've heard from all the people in the world over the last 6 days. Everyone I have ever met has reached out 10 or 11 times. Weird characters from my past the guy who fired me from my first radio job in Seattle, where we are not airing tonight, by the way. Sorry, Seattle. His name is Larry. In 1989, Larry tried to force me to do a bit called Jokes for Donuts, where people would call in with a joke and I would give them donuts. I refused to do it, and then I made a lot of fun of Larry for suggesting it, and eventually Larry fired me, and I had to move back in with my parents. But even he wrote in to cheer me up. Thank you, Larry, and I want to thank everyone who checked in. It would take all week to list all of them, but some that I do especially want to mention are my fellow late night talk show hosts, my friend Stephen Colbert, who's found himself in this predicament, my friends Jon Stewart, Seth Meyers, Jimmy Fallon, John Oliver, Conan O'Brien.
Which Stephen Colbert still is, his show is still done. Like he's on the rest of it, but after this, it's over with because of Trump and the federal government.
James Corden, Arsenio, Kathy, Wanda, Chelsea, even Jay reached out. I heard from late night hosts in other countries from...
I hope Stephen Colbert goes to the Daily Show. I hope he goes back and reprises the Colbert Report character.
Ireland and from Germany.
I think he's above that now. So, but I hope he could do his own show, but then also make an appearance on Jon Stewart's as in his old character he used to do, and like do both. But he's above that now. I think like Colbert can hold down a whole show by himself. He doesn't need to play a character. He can be himself now. But I think people would love if like he would show up on Stewart's when his show's done and be the Colbert Report again, just for like a segment, because that was the best back in the day when those two would be on.
The guy in Germany offered me a job. Can you imagine? This country has become so authoritarian. The Germans are like, come here. Come loose. My boyhood idols, Howard Stern and David Letterman, were very considerate and kind, and I feel honored to be part of a group of people that knows what goes into doing a show like this. And I also want to thank all of you. Thanks to who supported our show, cared enough to do something about it, to make your voices heard so that mine could be heard. I will never forget it. And maybe most of all, I want to thank the people who don't support my show and what I believe, but support my right to share those beliefs anyway. People who I never would have imagined, like Ben Shapiro, Clay Travis, Candace Owens, Mitch McConnell, Rand Paul, even my old pal Ted Cruz, who, believe it or not, said something very beautiful on my behalf.
I hate what Jimmy Kimmel said. I am thrilled that he was fired.
Oh, wait, no, not that. The other part.
But let me tell you, if the government gets in the business of saying,
we don't like
what you, the media, have said, we're going to ban you from the airwaves if you don't say what we like. That will end up bad for conservatives.
I don't think I've ever said this before, but Ted Cruz is right. He's absolutely right. This affects all of us, including him. I mean, think about it. If Ted Cruz can't speak freely, then he can't cast spells on the Smurfs. Even though I don't agree with many of those people on most subjects, some of the things they say even make me want to throw up. It takes courage for them to speak out against this administration, and they did, and they deserve credit for it. And thanks. For telling their followers that our government cannot be allowed to control what we do and do not say on television, and that we have to stand up to it. I've been hearing a lot about what I need to say and do tonight, and the truth is, I don't think what I have to say is going to make much of a difference. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. I have no illusions about changing anyone's mind. But I do want to make something clear because it's important to me as a human, and that is, you understand that it was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man. I don't...
He didn't even say anything about Charlie Kirk. He wasn't talking about Charlie Kirk or his family. He was talking about MAGA and their dumb fuck feelings. He was talking about MAGA because MAGA blamed the left as what killed Charlie Kirk. And the shooter, the one that was found to be, as we learn more information about the shooter, comes from a MAGA family. He comes from a MAGA background. He comes from being embraced by the MAGA and was morphed by it. That's what he was alluding to as one of their own. He was Charlie Kirk. He was a Charlie Kirk follower and loved Charlie Kirk and was a Charlie Kirk TPUSA person. That's not what Jimmy Kimmel said at all. He didn't even mention Charlie Kirk or the family.
If there's anything funny about it, I posted a message on Instagram on the day he was killed, sending love to his family and asking for compassion, and I meant it, and I still do. Nor was it my intention to blame any specific group for the actions of what it was obviously a deeply disturbed individual. That was really the opposite of the point I was trying to make, but I understand that to some that felt either ill-timed or unclear, or maybe both. And for those who think I did point a finger, I get why you're upset. If the situation was reversed, there's a good chance I'd have felt the same way. I have many friends and family members on the other side who I love and remain close to, even though we don't agree on politics at all. I don't think the murderer who shot Charlie Kirk represents anyone. This was a sick person who believed violence was a solution, and it isn't, ever. And also, selfishly, I am a person who gets a lot of threats. I get many ugly and scary threats against my life, my wife, my kids, my coworkers because of what I choose to say. And I know those threats don't come from the kind of people on the right who I know and love. So that's what I wanted to say on that subject. But I don't want to make this about me because, and I know this is what people say when they make things about them, but I really don't. This show this show is not important. What is important is that we get to live in a country that allows us to have a show like this. Yeah! I've had the opportunity to meet and spend time with comedians and talk show hosts from countries like Russia, countries in the Middle East, who tell me they would get thrown in prison for making fun of those in power, and worse than being thrown in prison. They know how lucky we are here. Our freedom to speak is what they admire most about this country. And that's something I'm embarrassed to say I took for granted until they pulled my friend Steven off the air and tried to coerce the affiliates who run our show in the cities that you live in to take my show off the air. That's not legal. That's not American. That is un-American. And it's so... I want you to think about this. Should the government be allowed to regulate which podcasts the cell phone companies and Wi-Fi providers are allowed to let you download to make?
That's a good question, because that's what they're going to attack next. Your Wi-Fi company, or your internet company, which they can track all that. Very good points being made.
Sure, they serve the public interest. Mm-hmm. You think that sounds crazy?
No.
10 years ago, this sounded crazy. Brendan Carr, the chairman of the FCC, telling an American company, we can do this the easy way or the hard way, and that these companies can find ways to change conduct and take action on Kimmel, or there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead. In addition to being a direct violation of the First Amendment, is not a particularly intelligent threat to make in public. Ted Cruz said he sounded like a mafioso. Although, I don't know, if you want to hear a mob boss make a threat like that, you have to hide a microphone in a deli and park outside in a van with a tape recorder all night long. This genius said it on a podcast. Brendan Carr is the most embarrassing Carr Republicans have embraced since this one. And that's saying something. The FCC has a tradition of meddling where they shouldn't under many administrations, but it wasn't always like this. There was an FCC commissioner back in 2022 who worked under Joe Biden who was spot on. He wrote, President Biden is right. Political satire is one of the oldest and most important forms of free speech. It challenges those in power while using humor to draw more people into the discussion. That's why people in influential positions have always targeted it for censorship.
Exactly. Because you draw people even that support MAGA will watch and laugh.
You know who wrote that? FCC Commissioner Brendan Carr, who later was
ironically
chairman of the FCC by this former crusader for free speech.
If we don't have free speech, then we just don't have a free country. It's as simple as that. If this most fundamental right is allowed to perish, then the rest of our rights and liberties will topple. Just like dominoes, one by one, they'll go down.
That was also in 2022. And I wonder, how did that guy turn into this guy?
Who would you like to see replace Kimmel on late night?
Well, a lot of people, anybody could replace him. The guy had no talent. Kimmel look, he was fired, he had no talent. He's a whack job, but he had no talent. And more importantly than talent, he had no, because a lot of people have no talent to get ratings. But,
and that was a legitimate argument MAGA was making, which tells me that they have no original arguments. And I keep MAGA on my Facebook a little bit for this. I can't I don't want them in my communities because I don't need them around others. But that's why I keep them on my social media so I can gauge what they say and believe, because they're a hive mind. None of them have original thought. They all get it from somewhere, and that's like just my brain data that I'm taking. So I keep them on there because if I got rid of all of them, I wouldn't be able to gauge at all what they're saying and doing. So you got to keep them around for that. And I do on some of my public social media, but in my communities and shit, no, they're gone, or they're in the process of being gone. But like on my Facebook page, for example, or whatever, even the YouTube chat, sometimes we try, but it just sometimes there's a lot of people. But I keep them there to gauge what they're saying, and it's usually an exact 1-to-1 repeat of this fucking loser or some other propagandist, and they have no other take. But I had so many MAGAs on my Facebook page in the public comments making it, well, Jimmy was banned because he had no talent. His ratings were down. His ratings were down. Ratings are down in general for late night shows because we have YouTube, and people watch the late night show on YouTube and they watch it the next day because there's 1,000 other things happening, and they try to fit their content into like what they can do. So some people watch it, or they watch it at work, or they play it on the video on their way to work, and then they listen to it on the way to work. They watch it on the internet. They watch it afterwards. It's hard to watch live TV with everything going on right now. How do you watch live shit? Honestly, I'm surprised you guys are tuned in, but like, it's tough. There's lots of things happening. So especially late night TV, like the ratings in general are down. But for Kimmel though, and Colbert, and for these are the top of it though. You can't say Jimmy Kimmel had no talent and had no, like, his numbers on YouTube show that he has plenty of interest and talent and people that want to watch what he has to say. But cable TV in general, ratings are going down because people are they have the internet. The internet is, you can stream your whole thing. You don't have to have a cable package. You can buy YouTube TV, or you can buy whatever else they have. I have YouTube TV, but there's other things now you can get. An app, and get all your shit in an app now. You don't have to have cable.
Had no ratings.
Well, I do tonight. You almost have to feel sorry for him. He did his best to cancel me. Instead, he forced millions of people to watch the show. That fired bigly. He might have to release the Epstein files to distract us from this now. Now, a lot of people have been asking me if there are conditions for my return to the air, and there is one. Disney has asked me to read the following statement, and I've agreed to do it. Here we go. To reactivate your Disney Plus and Hulu account, open the Disney Plus app on your smart TV or TV-connected device. I've been fortunate to work at a company that has allowed me to do the show the way we want to do it for almost 23 years. I've done almost 4,000 shows on ABC, and over that time, the people who run this network have allowed me to evolve and to stretch the boundaries of what was once traditional for a late night.
I think people are going to keep their Disney Plus canceled until they see Disney take a real stand. This was good for Disney to bring him back, but you need your Disney and you need your fucking corporations to do shit. You need them to. You know, I mean, as long as we have corporations and billionaires, you need them to stand against it. Or if they don't, then we're really all fucked. Then it's game. It is game over. But you need them. You need them to make the right decision. And the right decision here is to side with free speech. It's still super ultra mega capitalism and like infinite money. That's bad. That needs to be regulated for sure. But in this situation, when we're talking about the freedom of speech, you need that fucking monstrosity of capitalism to act and to take a stand there again, at least for the free speech part of it. And I think people are going to be looking for that from Disney before they reactivate their Disney Pluses.
Talk show, even when it made them uncomfortable, which I do a lot. Every night they've defended my right to poke fun at our leaders and to advocate for subjects that I think are important by allowing me to use their platform, and I'm very grateful for that. With that,
true, but they capitulated in like they gave in because the FCC chairman went on a Russian paid podcast and threatened. So I think people are going to need to see a little bit more backbone from Disney before they like start rushing back to resubscribe.
That said, I was not happy when they pulled me off the air on.
Oh no.
I did not agree with that decision, and I told them that, and we had many conversations. I shared my point of view, they shared theirs, we talked it through, and at the end, even though they didn't have to, they really didn't have to, this is a giant company, we have short attention spans, and I am a tiny part of the Disney Corporation. They welcomed me back on the air, and I thank them for that, because I know that unfortunately, and I think unjustly, this puts them at risk. The President of the United States made it very clear he wants to see me and the hundreds of people who work here fired from our jobs. Our leader celebrates Americans losing their livelihoods because he can't take a joke.
Exactly.
Somehow able to squeeze Colbert out of CBS. Then he turned his sights on me, and now he's openly rooting for NBC to fire Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers and the hundreds of Americans who work for their shows who don't make millions of dollars. And I hope that if that happens, or if there's even any hint of that happening, you will be 10 times as loud as you were this week. We have to speak out against this because he's not stopping. And it's not just comedy. He's gunning for our journalists too. He's suing them. He's bullying.
I'd stand with Jimmy Fallon for that too. But I would have the opinion that people had about Kimmel. I don't think Jimmy Fallon's funny at all. I can't stand Jimmy Fallon. He sucks. but I support his freedom of speech, and I would probably agree with his politics, maybe. But I don't know. I don't even think he really gets too political on his show. But Jimmy Fallon sucks so bad to me. He just feels like fake. Like, it just feels like nothing's genuine, and he's like forcing it. But you know, he's had some things to say against Trump, and I would be standing with him if they come for his show too. But yeah, he's the lowest on my totem pole.
Them over the weekend.
Do you know how else is underrated though? Is Oliver from HBO. I would probably put John Oliver one over Jimmy Kimmel. I think Kimmel would be like 4th or 5th, and I would have Stewart, Colbert, John Oliver, and then Conan's gone now, but probably then Kimmel. But John Oliver from HBO is so funny. He's so good.
His foxy friend,
and he has his own style where it's like comedy, but like mostly informative comedy, like different than this. Because like Kimmel and they have their monologues and they have their comedy with it, but John Oliver has he's locked in. He's locked the fuck in, and like his jokes come when you're not even expecting them.
Hegseth announced a policy that requires journalists with Pentagon press credentials to sign a pledge promising not to report information that hasn't been explicitly authorized for release. That includes unclassified information. They want to pick and choose what the news is. I know that's not as interesting as muzzling a comedian, but it's so important to have a free press, and it is nuts that we aren't paying more attention to it. Walter Cronkite must be spinning in his grave right now. He's dead, right? Yeah. Look, I never imagined I would be in a situation like this. I barely paid attention in school. But one thing I did learn from Lenny Bruce and George Carlin and Howard Stern is that a government threat to silence a comedian the president doesn't like is anti-American. That's anti-American. And I am so glad we have some solidarity on that from the right and the left. And
did Joe Rogan make any comments about it at all? And the free speech right warriors? Did Joe Rogan make a comment about Kimmel getting removed? I think he did. Did he?
This whole Jimmy Kimmel situation that is happening right now.
Yeah, wild.
Very wild. Okay, first of all, the FCC is, you have to have a license to broadcast, which is kind of crazy when you think about what that means now. Because, like, what does it mean? It used to mean that you used to have a license to broadcast because you were going to influence so many people. They had to make sure that you were on the up and up.
Right, but now, obviously, it's ridiculous because I'm broadcasting. I don't have to have a fucking license. You don't have to have that. Anyone can broadcast and go and start talking to people. So that's why it's wild to think of that it's like kind of like an archaic thing now, in my opinion.
Right. So they had to make sure that you didn't swear. So if you had a license and you were on CBS or NBC or ABC, you could not swear. Right. That was the rule. Mm-hmm. And then along came cable. And somehow or another, cable
changed the game.
Is a different thing. Right. Because cable, you just you have to pay for it, I guess. So it's different. And so then,
but in order to so like, because you don't pay for because if you just had a TV that you were able to hook up, you get the basic channels. But does that even work anymore? When you hook up a TV, like a brand new TV, God, I guess I haven't tried in a long time to hook up to regular TV. Like there's like the basic channels. You get like 11 channels, and those are the ones that are controlled by the government still then? Is that even possible? You get it. Oh, you have to so you have to buy an adapter to get the digital antenna for that? It's like extra steps to get to basic TV now with a smart TV with the new TVs. Instead of like back in the day where you just fire up a TV right off rip before getting your cable box, and you would have those channels, like those 11 channels or whatever. And the inputs.
Some of the channels you don't have to pay for. It used to be the only ones that swore were like HBO, where you had to pay for. And then all of a sudden it became kind of any of them because they realized, like, hey, we don't, like FX, we can swear, guys. Like, we only don't swear because we want to think of ourselves as TV.
Right.
But HBO was like, with the...
That's why Fox News and right-wing media aren't beholden to any government, and why Trump's using it on Jimmy Kimmel, because like Fox News and right-wing media or cable. Yeah, it's a cable package. You don't get that like just by hooking up your TV. But that needs to be all reformed. That needs to be so reformed. Americans, we're not living in the 90s. We're not living in the 2000s anymore. That needs to be changed. Like, why do we even have the FCC, honestly? I like realistically, with the different ways to broadcast and that, I think, what's the point of it?
Sopranos with HBO.
Is there an argument that we need to keep the FCC? That's legitimate.
Comedy specials in the beginning, that was a big one. You could just swear. Movies, you didn't have to bleep anything out. Just wild. And so what you're dealing with even first of all, I definitely don't think that the government should be involved ever in dictating what a comedian can or cannot say.
The Hammer says it's not just media. FCC regulates the how. So radio, satellite don't overlap. Like the infrastructure around it.
In a monologue. That's fucking crazy.
It's crazy.
Now, if the problem is the companies, if they're being pressured by the government, so if that's real, and if people on the right are like, yeah, go get them. Oh my God, you're crazy. You're crazy for supporting this, because this will be used on you. You don't think that the fucking globalist lizard people who run the world are sitting here going, great, what do we got, 3 years? We'll wait this out. We'll wait this out. Yeah. Let them say the government should be involved in censoring people's speech. Yeah. Let them support that. Let these fucking dumbasses, because Jimmy Kimmel's a leftist, let these dumbasses think it's a good idea and we should celebrate that.
That's the most toxic shit I keep seeing online, when people are like, yeah, shut him down.
This whole
still got to have the aura though. You don't notice how they still have to have that layer of like protection of like, there's still this cabal of, meanwhile the cabal is like the Trump administration and everybody that propped it up and everybody that's involved with it. But there's still this like cabal out there that's, this aura of this spirit that's out there that will use this. Interesting. But Joe Rogan still comes out on the right side of it, though. I didn't see that until now. So, or at least you said something. That's good.
Doesn't like is anti-American. That's anti-American. And I am so glad we have some solidarity on that from the right and the left and from those in the middle like Joe Rogan. Maybe the silver lining from this is we found one thing we can agree on, and maybe we'll even find another one. Maybe we can get a little bit closer together. We do agree on a lot of things. We agree on keeping our children safe from guns, on reproductive rights for women.
No, they don't. They don't think that.
Social Security.
Reproductive rights is woke. Social Security woke. Guns are protected by the Second Amendment. They don't agree with any of that stuff, Jimmy. Nope, that's socialism.
Cancer research.
Pediatric cancer research is DEI.
These are all things that most Americans support.
I wish. I mean, yes, I guess in a sense, but like not the MAGA, not the Trump administration. So like, and like that's the issue. I think maybe unless he's trying to do what I am, which is like unify everybody but MAGA, and that's the actual move. Like, there's no unifying with MAGA itself. It's everybody that's either disenfranchised from it, that was a part of it at one point, and then literally everybody else that's against it. And like, that's the coalition. But MAGA can't be included in it because like they're going to continue to further this fascism. So maybe at least he's talking about like the coalition of people that are against it, which that would make more sense than like what the shit MAGA is talking about, because they are against all of that.
Stop letting these politicians tell us what they want and tell them what we want. We are our leaders. There was a moment over the weekend, a very beautiful moment. I don't know if you saw this. On Sunday, Erica Kirk forgave the man who shot her husband. She forgave him. That is an example we should follow. If you believe in the teachings of Jesus, as I do, there it was. That's it. A selfless act of grace, forgiveness from a grieving widow. It touched me deeply. And I hope it touches many. And if there's anything we should take from this tragedy to carry forward, I hope it can be that, and not this. So thank you for listening, and I'll have more to say when we come back.
As long as it doesn't have WWE pyrotechnics. That was wild. I mean, I haven't said anything until this point, but I mean, brother. For a gift of any amount, receive a We Are Charlie Kirk wristband. This is what I missed. I missed all this because the Vikings are on and we're far more important. It's so fake. When the drums get to their crescendo, look up. So, yeah. Oh boy.
What about also those who say that you're being, in recent months,
most performative shit I've ever seen.
awfully thin-skinned?
I've always been thin-skinned. I've been thin-skinned from day one.
Welcome back to Jimmy Kimmel Live. We are still on the air in most of the country, except ironically for Washington, D.C., where we have been preempted. We are off the air in Nashville, New Orleans, Portland, Oregon, Salt Lake City, and St. Louis, where none of my wife's family is able to watch the show tonight. So sorry, Aunt Sharon. Sorry, Aunt Maureen. You'll have to go to YouTube, I guess. But I am glad to be back at work. It was touch and go for a minute. Guillermo did something very sweet, actually. He called me and he offered to sell his Labubus. I will never forget that gesture, my friend. Guillermo, I've done a lot of talking. Is there anything you would like to share with the audience tonight?
Sure. I would like to say, listen, this world needs more people like Jimmy Kimmel. He is the best.
Let's go, Guillermo.
He's a great man, a great father. And thank you, Jimmy. And I love you. And I stand with you all the way. And I love you.
That's very sweet. If you stand with me all the way, why did Ryan Seacrest call me and tell me you keep texting him over and over?
Never. That was wrong Mexican.
Oh, I see.
Wrong Mexican.
Yeah.
We were in the middle, and in a lot of ways still are in the middle, of an unprecedented fix. After almost 23 years on the air, we're suddenly not being broadcast in 20% of the country, which is not a situation we relish. So we reached out to the chairman of the FCC, Brendan Carr, and he has, to his credit, agreed to join us from his office in Washington. And here he is now. Thank you, Chairman Carr, for being with us tonight.
Amazing.
You tell Whoopi over there she better show a little respect, or the only view she's getting is from under George Washington, the bridge, not the.
Can I be honest? Another thing that, and this is gonna be weird, maybe not, but like I love movies. And some of my favorite movies are the ones this man stars in. Okay, hands down, all time greats, all time classics that Robert De Niro's been in. And one of the things, and this is gonna be weird, but like it is what it is. One of the things that helped move me away from MAGA was how the right wing, my family included, but people that are MAGA treat Robert De Niro, and as if like their opinions of Robert De Niro and the roles he's played and what he's been and how he can, be that in the movies, but then be smart about politics and kind of be like in real life, be the opposite of what his characters are in movies, which are like mobster, like he through his roles he's played in movies, he can like kind of understand the actions of the federal government right now in a weird way. I know it's just movies and acting, but I mean, he's played some significant roles that represent this like type of mob rule, right, in movies that are very famous. And it was a lot of like my MAGA family members that were like shitting on Robert De Niro, that I was like, the fuck, you really, Robert De Niro's bad now? You're going to argue that? And I know it sounds so stupid because it's nothing like politically sound, but that's like one of the things that moved me was the opinions of Robert De Niro in the right wing. Like, are you really? He's hurting because he criticized Trump. You're going to say he's a shit actor now and he's washed. He's old as fuck and he's still like in movies. I'm not going to say like his newest movies are like his best work, but he's been in movies for like 40, 50 years. He could be retired. He's because of the movies he's made. But like to pretend he's not like a legend in like acting and the roles he's played in movies would be a lie. And so that was one of the things that helped move me away from it, was just the egregious feelings-based lies about people that I looked up to. Even like I was a Republican right wing as a kid and loved him. I still do. Why would my opinion change because he has a negative view on Trump? And that was like and that's just like, you got to apply that to a lot more than just like Robert De Niro though. For me, it was the takes about like multiple cultural things, video games, sports, with the Colin Kaepernick and the kneeling that they canceled it for it. And I'm like, what? This is so stupid. It was just like a bunch of things that I like personally, culturally, that MAGA, because it became a cult, and like anything that Trump doesn't like, then they can't like, including like Robert fucking De Niro. That helped me like leave it, because I'll watch his movies until when I'm old. He won't be here anymore, and I'll still be watching Robert De Niro movies, and Goodfellas and Casino and The Godfather. The newer one that's really good that he's in is The Irishman. That one came on Netflix, but that one's really, really good actually for a recent Robert De Niro movie. A Taxi Driver.
Excuse me, sir? Yeah, hi.
Well, what is this? You sneak up on me? You don't sneak up on a person. It's not nice.
I'm sorry. What is your name? As I was expecting
Raging
to talk to
Bull.
the chairman of the FCC.
You don't need to know my name, and I am the new chairman of the FCC.
You were appointed FCC chairman by Donald Trump?
Sir Trump, yes. I used to do some work for the man here and there in Atlantic City.
But did I just hear you on the phone threatening Whoopi Goldberg?
No, I would never threaten Miss Goldstein. I was just teaching her a lesson about consequences.
No, well, pardon me for saying so. Maybe you're the wrong guy to talk to, but it seems like the FCC is using mob tactics to suppress free speech.
What the did you just say to me?
I didn't mean any offense. You know, you can't curse or we'll get fined by the FCC.
I am the FCC. I can say whatever the I want. No.
Well, it sounds a little like threats and intimidation to me, Chairman.
Stop that. It's just me, Jimmy, the chairman of the FCC, gently suggesting that you gently shut the up.
You can't say that. That's a violation of free speech.
Oh, yeah, about that. Speech, it ain't free no more.
What? It's not free no more?
Yeah, we're charging by the word now.
You're charging by the word? How much are you charging?
It depends on what you want to say. Like, you want to say something nice about the president's beautiful thick yellow hair, or how he can do his makeup better than any broad. That's free.
That's free.
That seems reasonable.
But if you want to do a joke like he's so fat he needs 2 seats on the Epstein jet, that's free, of course.
Can I just ask, just for clarity?
Trump's so fat he needs 2 seats on the Epstein jet is good.
Because it's a pretty good joke. How much would that one cost me?
A couple of fingers, maybe a tooth. And how constipated he is.
So is this how things are going to go from now on?
We also got a new motto at the FCC. Sticks and stones may break your bones.
And?
That's it.
Well, the rest of that is, but I think words can never harm you.
Oh, well, they can harm you now. Let's make sure you pick the right words. Capiche?
Okay, yeah, I guess I capiche, but I don't think. Oh, it sounds like you got a call there, huh?
Hi, handsome.
Hi, handsome.
I'm sorry, Mr. President. Okay. You got it, sir. You got it.
What did you say?
Look, I got to go. A couple of cases of Tylenol fell off a truck, and now I got to figure out how to put autism in.
Oh, okay. That sounds tricky. So good luck with that, sir.
Good luck with you, and I'll be watching you, Kimmel. Maybe not on ABC. That's up to you.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time.
And it is my honor to serve the public interest.
I know it is. I know it is. Thank you so much. I got to tell you, I like the new guy a lot. You know, as of this taping, the president has not weighed in on ABC's decision to put us back on the air. I don't know, maybe he's saving it for his late night toilet time, but His Magnificence had other business today in New York, big business, addressing the United Nations, which got off to a
stupid escalator
rocky start when the Trumps hit the escalator, and it suddenly stopped.
This is MAGA's face every day. Every day they wake up and they realize that liberals exist. This is MAGA. Fuck. I thought we got rid of them.
They had the walk up.
When Trump won, I thought the lib would go away.
He broke the escalator. Where was that escalator 10 years ago when we needed it on the way down?
Literally.
Trump had trouble with his teleprompter today, but spoke anyway for almost an hour off the cuff in front of all these foreign leaders. And when you think about uniting nations, well, no one does it better than Don.
It's time to end the failed experiment of open borders. You have to end it now. See, I can tell you. I'm really good at this stuff. Your countries are going to hell.
Well, if that doesn't get him the Nobel Prize, I don't know what will. Melania was, she sat for the speech. She was there not just in her capacity as First Lady, but also as a representative for all the unsatisfied Slovenian women of the world. Rumpelstiltskin was all over the map today. He ranted about windmills. He bragged about ending 7 wars. He threatened the guy who operates the teleprompter. He complained about being screwed out of a deal to renovate the building they were in, the United Nations building. He said, you could have had marble, you got terrazzo, you could have had mahogany, you got plastic instead. 5 translators had to be hospitalized for confusion. But none of that compared to the headache he is creating with his buddy RFK blaming autism on Tylenol. His press conference yesterday was an all-timer. Trump, Bobby Brainworm, and Dr. Roz strongly recommend that pregnant women stop taking Tylenol immediately, and the president was very persuasive making his case.
When the alternative is that nothing bad can happen, let's do it now. I was just saying to Bobby and the group, let's do it now. Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen. But with Tylenol...
Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen.
Don't take it.
He's such a fucking stupid person.
Don't take it.
Oh my God.
Follow the advice of Donald Trump, and you too can look like a glazed ham with deep vein thrombosis.
A glazed ham with deep vein thrombosis.
This is Tylenol we're talking about. The thing that you take when they won't let you take anything that works. It's never, they gave me Tylenol. It's always, only gave me was Tylenol. But make no mistake, this was an historic announcement. This was a major breakthrough.
So true. So true.
Medicine. And just in case it isn't clear.
Then give me the good shit this time. I just got this prescription fucking Tylenol.
If someone comes up and offers you a Tylenol, you should not take it.
Don't take Tylenol. Don't take it. With Tylenol, don't take it. Don't take it. Don't use Tylenol. Don't take Tylenol. Don't take Tylenol. Fight like hell not to take it. I think you shouldn't take it. Don't take Tylenol. The baby goes, gets a shot. They say, here, take a cup of Tylenol. I've heard that for years. Take Tylenol. Don't take Tylenol. Don't have your baby take Tylenol. Don't
have your baby take Tylenol.
To the baby. Don't give Tylenol to the baby. Don't give your baby Tylenol. Don't take Tylenol. Don't take Tylenol. Don't take Tylenol. Don't take it. Don't take it. So that's it. There's nothing much to say. Don't take Tylenol. Just don't take it. And I just say it again. Don't take Tylenol. Don't take it.
Brought to you by Mushroom.
Mushroom by Mushroom.
We have on YouTube now.
There you go. There it is. Jimmy Kimmel is back. And again, you can go, you can make me laugh. I'm not, like I said, he's not the funniest one, but he has some zingers sometimes. Like, they're there. They exist. That's why people like him. If he's really actually bad, he wouldn't be watched really. He wouldn't have 16 million views on his video. But again, you could be like, well, that's just because he had a lot of attention. Well, okay, well, his regular videos are always in the millions. Like I showed when it happened to him, and people were making the argument that he's mid or whatever. Every single one of his monologues are over 1 million views or multiple millions of views. And the in-between videos are hundreds of thousands of views. Almost 500,000 right here. I don't even know who Nate Bargatze is. I'm sorry. I don't know who that is, but they got 433,000 views on it. I don't know all the celebrities out here, I promise. I don't. I just don't. I don't care, really. 2.3 million 2 weeks ago. 2.9 million 2 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago with Denzel. Oh, Denzel Washington W. Oh, that's his interview with Denzel Washington with 1.4 million views. Denzel's a legend. And it's 3.6 million 3 weeks ago. And yeah, you don't just get those numbers like because they're just re-uploading his monologue from TV. But the numbers that people are going to watch his channel after the fact and are like going there specifically to look for it. And he's also has his subscriber count went up because of the cancellation, which MAGA, you should have learned. I told you that. That's why I said right away, as soon as this happened, that MAGA learned nothing. Because all of their favorite fucking circle jerk losers in MAGA only got famous because they were canceled. That's it. Because they got to grift that they were victims, and their follower counts went up like crazy because they were martyred. And they were perceived to be a victim. And we saw how that happened. And then when MAGA is cheering on Jimmy Kimmel getting shit canned by the FCC, and they're like, "Oh hell yeah, take that, Kimmel." Did you not learn how this works? Jimmy Kimmel becomes a martyr of free speech now. And it is what it is. It already happened with Colbert. And now you got another one. Now you got precedent now. Now you got multiple late night hosts getting punished by the federal government. Now you got Foundation. Now the next person they're going to get even more support than Kimmel, probably. And he got a fuckload here. So, and it's going to keep snowballing. The more people that this administration attacks and goes after. You learn nothing. MAGA learned nothing from their own victimhood and for MAGA, it's the culture of the country is not with that. We're not with fascism. And so their cancellations is because they can't shit on gay people and they can't shit on brown and black people and be comfortable doing it. And because they can't, and then they made that a free speech debate. And that's why. And that's their argument. But Jimmy Kimmel, who said the lightest possible shit ever, at MAGA and Trump gets removed, or it gets his show canceled on cable TV, or not cable TV. Sorry, it's I'm even confused on it. Not cable, the public airwaves of TV that still exists, I guess. And it's completely different. We're using the power of the government to censor Jimmy Kimmel for his criticisms of Trump. Which is what Trump's wanted to do the whole time. No, look no further than Trump's own statements on it. Look no further than Trump's own Truth Socials about it. Still attacking Kamala. Come on, where's his I can't believe ABC fake news gave Jimmy Kimmel his job back. The White House was told by ABC that his show was canceled. Something happened between then and now because his audience is gone. Gone. His talent was never there. Why would they want someone back who does so poorly, who's not funny, and who puts the network in jeopardy by playing 99% positive Democrat garbage? He is yet another arm of the DNC, and to my best of my knowledge, that would be a major illegal campaign contribution. I think we're going to test ABC out on this. Oh, are you now? Let's see how we do, says the President of the United States, directly threatening ABC. Or we're going to lean on him. That's like the mobster way to say it. Lean on him a little bit. Last time I went after them, they gave me 16 million. Wow. Nice admission. This one sounds even more lucrative. A true bunch of losers. Let Jimmy Kimmel rot in his bad ratings. Yeah. No, True is just bad. With his pill. I didn't realize he had a pill there. Katie Zaricha, Fox News blonde number 6535. What are these ads on this platform though? Holistic MD. So when you're scrolling Truth Social, you just get a whole bunch of crackpot medical stuff. That's why they can say there's autism in the Tylenol, because when you're scrolling right-wing media ads and shit, this is what you're seeing. You're seeing a whole bunch of holistic medicine, which there's some cases that's good to use. Not all cases. There should be a balance there of using like at-home remedies when you can and going to the fucking doctor and getting the proper treatment that you need. Oftentimes you get the proper treatment you need from your doctor, and then you realize, okay, well maybe, and then your own pain tolerance, okay, maybe I don't want to take these pain pills anymore because they make me feel weird and I don't have as much pain. So I know my prescription lasts another week. I would rather just like smoke pot, or I would rather just take a hot bath or something, or I would rather just drink this or have the like 7-Up or something, or citrus drink. And then at that point, that's when you make your holistic medical decisions of like not having the pharmaceutical medicines. Not go into that shit first. Okay. So he's crying about the UN, mad about Jimmy Kimmel. Made a statement about the ICE shooting. I have been briefed at the deadly shooting on the ICE field. Like, there's nothing that says you have to use all of your prescription, by the way. Unless it's like unless you like are like you need it to live. Because people have prescriptions that they need to like literally keep their whatever organ like functioning. So don't like follow your prescription. I'm talking like if you get prescribed pain meds because you like hurt yourself, you don't have to take all of them. Like I have unused like medication still from years, and because I don't like pain pills. They make me like my body aches and shit, and like I feel like crap, and I just want to like sleep, but it's like a weird feeling. So I use literally like until I don't need them anymore, and then I'll have a bunch left over. You don't have to use all of it. And at that point, then you can take matters into your hands and treat your pain. That it will work for you, so you don't have to keep using the pharmaceutical shit. Or if you can, like personally, like say you hurt yourself and like, yeah, I was prescribed the whatever pain pill, and I don't want to use pain pills. I would rather just use Tylenol and ibuprofen and like, and rotate your ibuprofen and Tylenol, but you should probably just ask your doctor. Like I always say, I said that during COVID. When people were confused about medical shit during COVID, like, bro, ask your doctor. They have all your medical records. Like, they know your body. No media person knows your body. Your body is different than another person's body. And how you can handle things is different than someone else. And you know who will know that? Your doctor. You know who will know, like, hey, you have like a bad reaction to this medicine, or you can't take this medicine because it gives this side effect or whatever. The media person won't be able to tell you that. Your doctor will. Okay. Well, what else? Anything else? Jimmy Kimmel back. In my opinion, false flag from ICE and the Department of Homeland Security today in Dallas, because none of the information coming out is trustworthy at all. So I think that's where we got for tonight. And again, we were live tonight because we had the state of play on my gaming channel earlier. Destiny's playing Expedition 33. Well, not playing it at all. It says Expedition 33 stream, but I don't see any Expedition 33. But we're gonna go play our games now on my gaming channel. I separate my channels, not all, and it could be, I don't know, it could be good, it could be bad. I just have a feeling like if I just started gaming on Mercado Media, I'd probably lose a lot of subscribers. Like you guys would stick around, but not really. And I would get the same amount of viewers I would on another channel here, and I would just like kill my numbers. So that's why I don't game on one channel. But like I'm not as big as the other creators though, so I can't do it. Either way, I got a gaming channel, Mercado Gaming. It's just a channel we play video games on, and we're gonna beat Silent Hill F. Okay, we got Silent Hill F. Been playing it since it came out. Had some challenging puzzles last night. but we're going to wrap it up tonight. It should be done. Actually, what day is it? We'll see how late it is, but we might be able to play 2 horror games tonight, depending on what time it gets to. But I think we only have like a few hours left on Silent Hill F. So we're about to go over there and finish that up, and we'll be live at a normal time tomorrow. Okay, guys, right around noon, 1 o'clock-ish in the afternoon. I don't have any other things going on for tomorrow. I just didn't want to, like, this stream would have been way shorter if I would have went with the news first before the state of play. All right, y'all. Thank you again for watching. Thank you to all the members. Make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel. We got more information coming in every single day now. So we'll have more news tomorrow. See what else this administration has for us. How much further we're going to go into the fascism in America. How much free speech is threatened. How much more gun violence is happening. Nothing really good, but... Oh, actually, you know what? Before we go completely, I'm getting my stream set up here. Let me get this set up. And then I got one more thing before we go. So I don't want to leave you all sad. That's why you should come to the gaming channel so you don't go to bed sad or mad. Come get scared. That's an emotion. There you go. You're mad and then you're happy and now you come get scared and then you'll be bad. Well, good balance. Fair and balanced. Fair and balanced. Trying to see how much time I need. We'll just go 8:30. 15 minutes from now. I don't need actually a whole lot of time. I got all my caffeine and I already ate, so I don't need to go get food. So 15 minutes from now, I'm gonna have a safety meeting. Safety meeting for sure. Okay, it's just scheduled before we go here. And if you're on Twitch, like I gaming on Twitch for me is just not gonna work. So you guys are gonna have to come to the gaming channel for the gaming. Yeah, it's just gonna have to come on over. Where is it? One more. Here you go. One final one before we go.
So President Cankles and Brainworm Jr. just announced Tylenol causes autism, and it's about time somebody said what nobody was thinking. Of course, they left out vaccines, Jimmy Kimmel, and public schools, but they nailed it with the Tylenol, a.k.a. a fetus synonym. Fetus synonym. Decedus feminine. You know what I'm trying to say, God damn it. Why'd you even name it after something that sounds like a Harry Potter spell? It's demonic in the name. Right here. See? Tylenol with extra strength autism. Side effects include, where was it? Inappropriate Roman hand gestures and tripping balls at the White House. I have it on good authority that you can reverse some of the effects of the Tylenol autism. I got
Tylenol autism.
You know, I can't reveal my sources, but one was a podcaster and one was a guy who used to have a worm in his brain. But if you vape a little bit of ivermectin, that'll help you reverse the tism. Of course, I don't have autism because I've never been tested. And also, I don't obsess over anything, you know, except for people's genitals and what they do in the privacy of their own bedroom. But other than that, I don't obsess over anything like people with autism. But I've been, just to be safe, I've been microdosing the Mectum for years.
Microdosing the Mectum?
You just mix it with a little bump of bleach. You just put a little on the back of your hand. You just, yeah, that helps too. And Big Pharma, you better count your days, because you take these right here and you stick them up your ass. I know it says you take orally, but you stick them up your ass. And you keep playing the games you've been playing, I'm going to mix them with them radioactive Walmart shrimps, and then it's going to be over for you, motherfucker.
That's Brent. So he plays a MAGA character. So it's really good. Really good. All right, guys. That's it. Have a good night. See you tomorrow. Fuck Donald Trump. See you on the next one. Peace.
Just when I thought it wasn't getting no sicker, I woke up one morning and heard this weird-ass motherfucker talking out the side of his neck. Me and all my peoples, we always thought he was straight. Influential motherfucker when it came to the business. But now, since we know how you really feel, it's how we feel.
Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, nigga, fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, nigga, fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, fuck Donald Trump. Yeah. I like white folks, but I don't like you. All the niggas in the hood wanna fight you. Surprise the nation of Islam ain't tried to find you. Have a rally out LA, you know what's up. Home of the ride and King Ride, we don't give a fuck. Black students, ejected from your rally. What? I'm ready to go right now, your racist ass did too much. I'm about to turn Black Panther. Don't let Donald Trump win, that nigga cancer. He too rich, he ain't got the answers. He can't make decisions for this country, he gon' crash us. No, we can't be a slave for him. He got me appreciating Obama way more. Hey, Donald, and ain't gonna follows. You gave us your reason to be president, but we hate you. Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, nigga, fuck Donald Trump. I don't like your ass. Yeah, fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, I really fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, nigga, fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, fuck Donald Trump. Yeah.
Nigga, am I tripping? Let me know. I thought all that Donald Trump bullshit was a joke. Know what they say when rich niggas go broke? Look, Reagan so cold, Obama so hope. Donald Trump spent his trust fund money on the vote. I'm from a place where you probably can't go. Speaking for some people that you probably ain't know. There's pressure built up and it's probably gonna blow. And if we say go, then they probably gonna go. You vote Trump, then you probably on dope. And if you like me, then you probably ain't know. And if you been in jail, you could probably still vote. If we let this nigga win, we gon' probably feel broke. You build walls, we gon' probably dig holes. And if your ass do win,
fuck Donald Trump.
Fuck you.
Fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, nigga, fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, nigga, fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, fuck Donald Trump. Hold up, I got something to say, hold up.
we the youth, we the people of this country. We got a voice too. We will be seen and we will be heard.
Hold up, I fuck with Mexicans. Got a plug with Mexicans. When a little need a switch, who I call Mexican. This Comedy Central ass nigga come be the president. Hold up, Nip, tell the world how you fuck with Mexicans.
It wouldn't be the USA without Mexicans. And if it's time to team up, shit, let's begin. White people feel the same as my next of kin. Let this nigga win, God bless the kids.
God bless the kids, this nigga wicked and weird. When me and Nip link, that's Bloods and Crips. When your LA rally, we gon' crash your shit. Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, nigga, fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, nigga, fuck Donald Trump. Yeah, fuck Donald Trump. Yeah.